Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, January 20th, 2021, and in the real world, I guess there's some real big shit popping off. There's a new president in town over in D.C. That was happening. I don't know if it's still happening. It was happening moments ago as we came on the air. And in our world, some big news happened this morning as well. Ladies and gentlemen, after a 17-year NFL career out of NC State, a man who captivated the hearts of football fans in San Diego, and then drove from Los Angeles to San Diego for a year as the San Diego Chargers became the Los Angeles Chargers, and captivated the hearts of the people in Los Angeles. Not a lot of people, because they were Rams fans mostly at the time, but you get it. Then he comes to Indianapolis, and at the beginning of his relationship in Indianapolis, the fans got a little bit intrigued by how it was going to go, because the battles between he and Peyton Manning back in the day were always awesome. And this particular player loved to talk shit at a rate that nobody else did, which sometimes got casted as a negative thing. But I think if you ask any person that's been in the NFL, they'd say they love everything about it. He's created some of the greatest moments in NFL films' mic'd up sessions, and he retired this morning. Phil Rivers, hell of a run, pal.
Hell of a run. Congrats, Phil.
Hey, Phil, hell of a run.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
He made it official this morning with an entire statement. It was reported by a couple people. I believe SpotTrack, SPOTRAC had it first. I'm not 100% sure. I do like to give credit normally to who got it first, because we understand that the news-breaking pond is filled with a bunch of sharks in there.
Oh, yeah.
Got to get it right. But he released a statement, an official statement. Every year, January 20th is a special and emotional day. It is St. Sebastian's feast day.
Of course.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Well, Sebastian became a saint. And I'll tell you what, on January 20th, he fucking emptied every plate in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
Great day.
Great day, January 20th, St. Sebastian's feast day. The day I played, Philip Rivers says, in the AFC Championship without an ACL, by the way. No ACL. And now the day that after 17 seasons, I'm announcing my retirement from the National Football League. Thank you, God, for allowing me to live out my childhood dream of playing quarterback in the NFL. I am grateful to the Chargers for 16 seasons and the Colts for the 17th season. Thank you to all my coaches that helped me grow as a player and person. Thanks to the support staff, by the way.
Yeah,
Of course, put it in there. One sentence. You know who you are. Okay, equipment managers, athletic trainers, everybody, you know exactly who you are. I appreciate you. I appreciate the opposing defenses, making it challenging physically and mentally every week. ... I also enjoyed the banter. Those, hey, by the way, Phil, we all enjoyed that banter as well. Some people were pretty loud about not enjoying it. I want to let you know those people were not people that are friends of ours, and I think there was a lot more people like us than those people. We enjoyed whenever you talk shit to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
But there were some times there where people were not happy about him shit-talking people.
No.
Where he would go literally at fans and say, never swearing somehow, but at fans he'd say things. In Indianapolis, there's an entire give and take of him and three fans during one, I think it was the AFC Championship game in which they beat the Indianapolis Colts the year before I got drafted, because Cyphers had a massive game for them. Cyphers is a legend. But there's just been a nonstop competitive edge to Phil Rivers that whenever he talks shit, some people bashed it. We always enjoyed it. Now, let's get back to his statement. I appreciate the referees for putting up with all my fussing. I think I was right most of the time, dadgummit. Good line. Hey.
That's a great line.
Hey, he knew that was going to get a good pop.
Yep.
And it did, by the way. Dadgummit. Thanks to the fans in San Diego around the nation that both cheered and booed. By the way, I appreciate it both. Kind of heel babyface thing. Special thanks to my teammates. Without a doubt, my favorite part of the game, being a teammate. Thank you for being mine. Lastly, thank you to my wife and best friend, Tiffany, and our children. Here we go. Hallie.
What?
Caroline.
What?
Grace.
What?
Gunner.
What?
Sarah.
What?
Peter.
What?
Rebecca.
What?
Claire.
What?
Anna.
What?
Could not have done it without y'all's unwavering support. As my playing career comes to an end, the next chapter begins. Cool up high. Phillip Rivers.
Wow.
I believe Phillip Rivers, guaranteed Hall of Famer. There's some people, I guess, that oppose that opinion. It is actually Zito's poll today, which we will keep up with throughout the show. If you're a starting... Now, listen, I'm going to say it. When I heard that we picked Phillip Rivers over Tom Brady to come to Indianapolis, I wasn't exactly thrilled about it. I mean, that wasn't something that I was, like, openly pumped about. But if you're a starting quarterback in the NFL for 17 years, the hardest position in sports, everybody says it, except for people that play in other positions that assume their position's maybe a little bit harder than a quarterback position, but I'm not exactly sure which one. Maybe being Sidney Crosby, the greatest hockey player to ever exist, is maybe a tougher position because the amount of pressure that's been put on him since he was in high school or whatever. But the quarterback position is the NFL. The NFL is the largest league in the world, the best league in the world. And if you're the face of a franchise for 17 years at the hardest position in sports, the position that makes the game the biggest game in the world, in the best game in the world, I think that automatically deserves a little recognition in the Hall of Fame. I mean, my house in college had a Hall of Fame. If a guy hit, 6 straight cups going up in there. Mm-hmm. All right. Hall of Fame is like, hey, this is a collection of legendary things that have happened within our league. We have standards. We have a lot of different things. 17 years for the number 17 as at the position that it is. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. You're not just a quarterback in the NFL for 17 years and you're not at the top of the game or somebody that should be remembered whenever there's 100 years from now and Canton's still standing. You're walking through. I think he should be in there with a bust that even says something hilarious at the bottom of it so people know about Phil Rivers. Phil Rivers obviously never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino also, same story. Is it Phillip Rivers' fault that the teams he was on didn't win a Super Bowl? Some people say yes because it is such a quarterback league, but then as we kind of get older now, right? We're kind of getting older into the game, realizing more and more, like, you need a fucking team around you.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to need a team. Everybody needs people to help them. And that's why football is the greatest team sport there's ever been. Now, granted, normally quarterbacks will attract great players or make players even better than they are, and they did. And he did have success, great success, just without winning the Super Bowl. I don't believe that is a reason to deem him not a Hall of Famer. I think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. I enjoyed watching him this year with the Colts, mostly because Phil Rivers, Favre had this. Mm-hmm. Phil Rivers, old school guy. He would throw an interception. And then by the time he got to the sideline, he didn't even remember that it happened. Nope. He sits down. Actually, I don't even think he sat down ever. He stood and cheered for the defense the entire time as opposed to sitting on the bench. Awesome teammate. I assume everybody that played with him loved him. Darius Leonard called him Uncle Phil, told him congratulations, that whole thing. But he's got to go into the fucking Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He has to. He honestly has to. And I think, I don't know, I'm a Phil Rivers guy, I think, at this point after watching him this year. Because the throw the pick, forget about it. Mm-hmm. Go right back out. Throw another one.
Yep.
I mean, he will not, there is not even a thought after his throw, the weird release, obviously. And he came on the show and he said it was because whenever he basically grew up around football, his dad was a high school football coach. And when he was a kid, he wanted to throw the ball, which I think we all do that, by the way. Whenever we're trying to throw a football, it's too big. But he was just so damn good at it that he just stuck with it. And they tried to change it or whatever. He'll go right back out there and throw that thing right into a defensive meeting. And it is not even a question. There's a lot of quarterbacks that potentially do that, have a lot of turnovers, or potentially turn the ball over, and they get cut quickly. The reason why Phillip Rivers didn't, and he played for 17 years, is because the immediate play after that, he'll put a ball into a keyhole, into a throw that you would never expect him to make, and he had that ability to bounce back. He was tough. He was a great. I think Phil Rivers is a Hall of Famer. And is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I mean, who the fuck knows about that? Okay, probably not, I'd assume, because I don't know how that whole thing works, to be honest. I haven't looked into it, strictly because there's a much better chance of me ending up in other Hall of Fames than the NFL Hall of Fame. So I haven't really looked at the whole process, but I believe the no Super Bowl thing will probably hold him out of the first ballot Hall of Fame thing. But if you're Phillip Rivers, you should feel really good about what you accomplished. Now, will he go coach high school football like his dad? Or will he take the $10 million a year that's probably going to be offered to him to be in the booth somewhere because they're already calling him the next Tony Romo? Now, will he be? Probably. I assume he'll probably be very good at it. He's come on our show, great personality. FCC's going to love him.
Yeah.
He's completely okay. And he has an ability to be funny and relatable without swearing, which is not an easy thing to do. So maybe Phil Rivers will do that. Or maybe he'll say, put the ball cap and the whistle on that he's always wanted to do and go coach. Anyways, job well done. Congrats to Phil. We appreciate everything you've done for the game.
Congrats, Phil.
There's people saying, no way Hall of Fame.
A lot of people.
17 fucking years as starting quarterback in the NFL at Ty Schmidt. You said a lot of people are saying that?
Yeah, I feel like the most of what I'm seeing is people, because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and I think they remember like this late stage in his career where he did throw more interceptions and stuff like that. But also the guys who are voting for the Hall of Fame, all these writers, don't they love Phil? Mm-hmm. Like they love his personality and everything that he gave to the game.
Because
like,
didn't a lot of people talk bad about Phil being the way he is?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like a lot of those guys who actually do have votes, like they love all the off the field and like the competitive edge and all that kind of stuff. And I just feel like, I mean, it's tough because of the way he's played these last couple years when he clearly just wasn't the same guy, but it's easy to forget how good he was. Like
17 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bro, that is so long. Mm-hmm. I played in the NFL 8 years. Okay? Punter. Was only good for about 5 of them. This dude was a starting quarterback for 17 years in the NFL. That is so long. I don't understand the even thought of he can't go in. That is a long fucking time in there. Zito, your poll is about that today. I'm getting information in my ear saying it's basically a split poll at this point.
Really? It is a very tight race. Heck nah, 48.9%. Yeah, dadgummit, 51.1%.
Okay. So you definitely spelled dadgummit wrong. But
I took it from his speech.
No, you did not actually. That's how I know you spelled it wrong, because I just read it about a minute and a half ago. But I do appreciate the fact that you Googled how to spell his name.
I did, yeah.
That was very,
yeah.
Hey, attaboy Z.
Thanks, guys.
Woo! That would normally be a Zito special there.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, we're in the middle of a Zito production at my house right now. The Oculus Arena is being built. But anyways, it is very close here, 51-48.9. That's over 3,000 votes. I assume that'll only grow. Go vote at Viva La Zito. We'd like to promote the vote around here.
Promote the vote.
At Tone Diggs, your thoughts, pal?
I was just looking it up. There's 5 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl. Fouts, Jim Kelly, Marino, Warren Moon, and Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, so he's going in.
Phil's getting in.
Jeez, did you hear that?
Yeah. Feedback.
So I think that thing's going through my head.
Out the mouth.
I think.
That's crazy.
Waves.
Yeah, because when I turn it up, it happens, by the way. So I have to keep it kind of low, because if not, as soon as I turn my head, this thing fucking goes off from my earpiece.
Goes out, yeah.
But that sounds like a list that Phil Rivers will definitely be a part of.
I mean, Fouts played for the same exact team for less amount of years, not as good.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be tough to and you've heard some Hall of Famers come out and say, we got to make it much more difficult to get in here, which is very interesting after you get in the state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's, by the way, the people who have been saying that are people that can definitely be the people that say that, by the way. Like, I do believe Dion potentially said something about it, and Dion's like, one of the greatest football players of all time. Like, he's a guy who can be like, hey, if they're going to put on the same jacket as me, they need to up their game a little bit. So I can understand if Dion says it, and I think there's been a couple others that have been up there that are the fucking guys in our sport. I mean, so they can say that. But I think the Hall of Fame, they try to open it up a little bit. Remember, Ray Guy went in a couple years ago. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have or should have. I mean, field position does matter. There's a reason why every noted coach that has ever coached football loves punt, loves punting, loves the punt team, loves what it stands for, understands what it's about, understands that the game is about acquiring territory, and when you punt, basically, you are setting yourself up for success. It's a calculated turnover, but it's a massive part of strategy. Will it remain as big of a strategy piece as it has been in the game, as the offenses continue to be incredible? That will TBD. That will definitely to be determined, because whenever you pin somebody now, it's almost like you're just setting them up for more fantasy points or more yards if you're really going to get going. But when Ray Guy got in there was a lot of conversation, obviously, with that whole thing. And then there's been a couple other names that have gotten in where I think some people were like, is this really deserving or what? And I think the Hall of Fame should be like a thank you from the NFL almost for your services to the NFL. And granted, this comes from somebody who will never be in the Hall of Fame and probably shouldn't have that conversation. But I think whenever people walk through Canton, and I was at the Hall of Fame game, it got canceled because the field got cooked. Field got cooked.
Yeah.
They painted it, put a tarp over it. You might as well just put a magnifying glass. And the paint just all over the thing. But I think whenever you walk through there, it should be like a museum of the greats. You know what I mean? And I do believe Phil Rivers is one of those greats that we should have remembered alongside the game. Now, that is not how the Hall of Fame is viewed. There's stats and votes and this and that. But I feel like that is my overall view of the Hall of Fame. You know, like, now, Grant, do I think there should be separate halls? Where like Dion and like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, down here, these are the bad motherfuckers down here. Okay, these are the ones, you know.
Best of the best.
Yeah, down here, this is the, like, maybe you expand it a little bit to kind of separate it a little bit. And I don't know how pissed off that would be. But that whole conversation about the Hall of Fame thing gets very, very serious very quick. And I don't know why people get so fucking angry about it all.
Seriously.
You know, Phil Rivers dedicated 17 years.
Yeah, maybe we could
entirely.
stick Phil down the hall to the left in the closet in the Hall of
Oh,
Very Good.
come on, dude. Come on.
Speaking of very good, that shirt you're wearing back there, Nick, very good.
Awesome.
I have mixed feelings on this shirt.
It looks good from here.
You know, it represents
Good.
Sweet
Dark.
Town, the greatest city with the greatest hockey team in the nation.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Penguins.
But the shirt right now, it's orange.
Yeah, it looks like an off-brand shirt to me.
Holy shit.
Questions
Fox.
Oh,
for the
man.
people who designed it.
Hey, that was a very next level. You know, because Hockey Town, that whole thing. That was very. Hey, Foxy, that was a pretty good little.
clever.
Thank you. That doesn't happen often.
No, yeah, you're right. That's why I think that was the entire. That boy, Fox. Representing Detroit, old school Hockey Town. Anyways, yeah, shirt is orange and black, which would be the Flyers, and they are not Hockey Town. They're the town that hasn't seen the Stanley Cup in like 75 years. Stay out of conversations with the men, please, with the adults.
Yeah, with real hockey
Stay
towns.
down there, yeah, please. But let's get back to the Hall of Very Good. Is that what everybody's saying? Is that the people that are
I just
against
think,
Philip
you know,
Rivers?
yeah, I mean, look, the guy's never won an MVP. He doesn't have a championship. What are we talking about here?
How old is he?
39.
How old is Tom Brady?
43.
How old is Peyton Manning?
44, 45.
Right around.
I mean, so he ran into quite a fucking buzzsaw there.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Oh, boo-hoo. So we're not even looking at circumstance here?
how
We're not
many
even looking at
quarterbacks-
Let's not
circumstance?
forget about Big Ben. He ran into since he was
Breeze,
drafted.
Flacco.
Rodgers. There's a lot of other QBs that are above Philip Rivers.
You
in
just
this
said
conversation.
Flacco?
Oh, I said Flacco.
Yeah, please don't.
Who'd you say,
put that on
Breeze
me.
Rodgers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. What are we even talking about?
So we're just letting everybody in? Everybody gets a trophy?
See, you're the guy. You're the guy that I was just referring to. I was literally just referring. Why are you so angry? All these people have contributed so much to the sport. Like fucking, they should be in the Hall of Fame, I believe.
I'm not saying Rivers didn't contribute to the sport.
17 years as a starting quarterback in the
Long
NFL.
time.
That is a long time.
Half his life.
This may be off the top of my head,
Almost.
but in his career, the only quarterbacks to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC were Tom, Peyton, Ben, and Flacco once.
It's not like he didn't have good teams.
What are you talking about?
He had Tomlinson. He had Gates. He had
They
all
did have some
world
weapons
level
out there.
players.
They did have some weapons out there.
Running backs don't win you Super Bowls.
Hey, Antonio Gates was a basketball player. Who made him the fucking tight end? Phil Rivers. Okay, why don't you? Oh yeah, now let's go ahead and flip this thing around. Now Tomlinson could do whatever he wanted, and I believe Antonio Gates probably would have learned how to play football with any other quarterback. But let's give a little credit for the guy that was making that all happen. I don't know. It's just the thing for me is as soon as you hear that length of consistency, of greatness, very goodness, for that long, I just, in my eyes, immediately go, oh, one of the greatest athletes of all time right there. That's unbelievable.
Frank Gore into it?
Mentally, yes, Frank Gore goes into the Hall.
Yep,
if
of
you're
course.
walking through Canton, and if I'm the NFL, and I'm trying to say, hey, here's what we fucking got, okay? Somebody comes over that is not a fan of the NFL, all right? They're like, don't know anything about the sport or the league. They're like, all right, come into our fucking Hall of Fame. Let's go ahead and teach you some things. When the NFL says, come on in, there almost should be a statue of Frank Gore right at the fucking beginning.
bust. Full
Right at
bust.
the front of that thing. With his goddamn, with his socks down and his shoes, his shoulder pads that are the size of this watch, okay? His no pads at all.
Dented helmet.
Taped up everything. Running people over for, 16 years at this point? How many years is it?
Going on 17, I believe. Yeah.
16 years? Yes. Frank
don't
Gore
play
should be
football.
right there. The NFL should be like, wait till you hear about this motherfucker. What's this guy? He wore no pads. He was like a rugby player playing against guys, basically, and he was just running people. Yes, I would put Frank Gore right in front. And by the way, put Phil Rivers, maybe put him in in, like little social gathering. You put them in the middle, have them just talking trash. Everybody walks through. Oh,
that'd be
dadgummit,
good.
you kind of stink. Like,
Frank Gore's number 3 on the all-time rushing.
yeah, what's Nick know? Nick knows not that he's wearing a fucking Flyers shirt. Forced him to wear it.
Had to.
Hey, what are you doing? I mean, we're trying to move some shirts here.
Okay? We're hockey time. It's hockey season. The Pens are back, by the way. Thought the season was over. Thought they stunk. Turns out, still the greatest team.
They're fine.
Season back on.
Hey, they're making it real close, though, a lot of these games.
It's, the season just started. They got to get those legs back.
For those that don't know hockey, Sidney Crosby, greatest hockey player of all time. Allow me, hockey aficionado, to inform you on hockey. The guy wears number 87 for the Pittsburgh team. Ever since he was in high school, he was deemed the next great one. He's like the LeBron James of hockey, and all he has done is dominate. He's been hurt a couple times because he plays in an era where they don't have goons that can protect him. He plays in an era where he doesn't have 3 feet of space around him at all times because everybody was so scared to get close to him because there was dudes paid on guys' teams back in the day just to come move the jaws of motherfuckers that came close to their star players. He also plays against goalies that wear pads and are athletic, and he is the greatest player of all time. And he plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And last night, the Sidney Crosby, greatest player of all time, fucking buried one home against the Capitals to send them home against probably the number 2 guy, Ovechkin, by the way. I'm a big Ovechkin fan.
Oh, yeah.
Ovechkin, by the way, Russian fella, plays for the Washington Capitals. They won the Stanley Cup. He went on a 15-day bender.
Yeah.
Guy you want to cheer for.
Yeah.
Guy you want to root for. It's just a shame, just like Phil Rivers, he happens to be in hockey at the same time as Sidney fucking Crosby.
Exactly.
And that's how you tie it all up. Hockey time.
Well said.
Get the shirt. Change the color, though.
Stored up at McAfeeShow.com. They will be gold when you get them.
Yeah. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Maybe, dude. The merch business is an interesting one. We are looking to get better.
Quarantine has not been kind to the merch business.
Because a lot of things that are in place there,
A lot of moving parts.
there's a lot of things, people
Yeah.
can't be around each other.
Difficult.
A lot of gears.
So you put that part of the shirt, and then you just go ahead and mail that down the street. They'll put that in a shirt. A little bit difficult, but we're looking to get better. And that Hockey Time shirt, good design, terrible execution. But I appreciate the fact that I forced Nick to wear that today. Because we are from Hockey Time. And the Penguins going to win the Stanley Cup.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Probably not, right, Nick, though? They're not going to win. They stink. You said?
They might. They might.
All right, let's get to a break. 25 minutes into hour 1 here on this Wednesday, January 20th. We'll take some phone calls on the other side.
Ooh.
Shout out to Phil Rivers, Hall of Famer. Hear that, Nick? Hear that, Nick?
Listen, I just didn't think this was this kind of show. We're just all kumbaya. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets in the Hall of Fame.
I am not that type of show.
No.
Sounds like it.
You hear what I said about Jordan yesterday, dude? Get out of here, bro.
Whoa.
By the way, fresh pair of J's showed up late to the inauguration.
Nice.
Dior ones.
Gotta be fun the legs it belong to, right?
Maybe. Still doing research.
You're going to be the one that cracks the case on who's wearing the Dior
Well, I've
ones?
got a lead.
I would assume the internet has already figured that out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Where do you think I got my lead from?
Oh, see,
Pac-Man loves this guy, right?
but you acting like you're trying to figure it out when
Yeah,
really
I'll
you're
figure it out.
you're reading somebody else's tweet that has
Correct. But it's a confusing tweet. I mean, I'm not ready to put out the name of who I think it is.
because of the Juju beast. At Boston Connor's here as well, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Great to see you, bud.
Good to see you.
1-888-MAD-DOG-6. It is Wednesday, January 20th, Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll be back on the other side.
Pretty big breaking news.
Oh,
no.
What's that? Oh, he got got. Oh, he got got. He got got. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Tony. Gordon get to a goddamn break. Can't happen. Can't win with it. Everything I just said was wrong.
It would have been cool though if it was right.
Would have been cool, wouldn't it? Dick just got a darn Schefter.
Oh my
It was at Ultra Weed Hater.
He got cockinerd.
What was it doing on my timeline?
Bro, McCockner's just jujuing on me.
Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and it was a lot of purple. And when you get that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York hits a beautiful ball.
One person up in the parking garage.
And think about him warming up right now. There's just 3 dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? Tim, you are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening in this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball. And BT Potter puts it through the 52 in Odell's. Not in your face. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for BT Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. That's a bad call. No chance Alberto Riverod would turn that over. He was in the Buccos organization?
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
I am caveman.
Hell yeah.
Me like rock.
Me too. Welcome back to the show.
I am Moran.
It's the Noisy Noodles
Dino, me like rock.
with I Am Caveman. I mean, what a heater, dude.
I love this song.
Bam. Can't hunt chicken after dark.
Can't do it.
Nothing. Right, Red Mark.
All right, quick question. They go into the booth. Okay, how many takes? Like, at what point do you think they're like, that's the one? I am caveman. Lock it in. That's the one we want.
I need more emphasis on cave, please.
They say you can't cut chicken after dark.
Yeah, because you can't see when it's cooked, obviously.
Oh,
You know what I'm
but there's
saying?
fire, right? Cavemen had fire. I
You'd
do
think.
believe
I don't
if
know.
they're cooking something, they would have some sort of fire,
Maybe.
which does bring light.
True.
Let there be light.
Some say.
Good point.
But I wonder what that particular caveman was going through at night. Just couldn't cut the damn chicken.
I'm guessing those guys after the first take knew it was gold and were just like, hey,
Get it out.
let's get it out there.
All platforms as soon as possible.
The one take song.
We got to move on to Patrick Mahomes and to some phone calls. Patrick Mahomes playing this weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is good news for everybody, all parties involved, NFL included. Maybe not the Buffalo Bills not exactly thrilled that Patty Mahomes playing, but hey, Chad Henne ain't playing no fucking games either. The Phil Rivers conversation, I guess I just checked the internet. There are a lot of people that don't think he should go into the Hall of Fame. And that is wild to me. And I laid out a variety of reasons. Most of them revolve around 17 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL. If you want to talk about having a dent in the NFL and being incredibly good at something at the highest level, at the toughest position, for 17, almost 2 decades, that's a long-ass time. I think that deserves Hall of Fame. Now, first ballot Hall of Fame, I'm not getting into that whole debate. If I'm the NFL, I would like Phillip Rivers to be a representative of what our game is for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Connor brought up a point during the break that is, I think, should be talked about whenever you talk about all his Super Bowls and everything like that. Connor, please lay this out. This was one of the most intelligent things I've ever heard Connor say.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, when you look at the history of the quarterback position, 2 guys you can probably put there at the top, at least I do, next to Rodgers. That's Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. How hard would it be to beat Peyton Manning one week and then the next week having to travel to New England and beating Bill Belichick and Tom Brady? Could any quarterback ever do it?
Yeah, Phil Rivers would have to go, okay, I have to beat Peyton Manning, and then 1 week later I have to beat Tom Brady, and then I'm in the Super Bowl. By the way, that's just the AFC, and that's the playoffs every fucking year, basically. And then you toss in Ben Roethlisberger.
Exactly. And the wild card, maybe Ben, Peyton, Tom. How many guys?
That is a murderer's row.
Yeah, nobody.
What do you want from the guy?
To get into the Hall.
What?
That's what it takes to get into the Hall.
Well, Phil, you know what Phil should have done?
He should have won.
He should have packed up and went to the East.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everybody's doing in basketball, getting out of the West because LeBron's over there. Yeah. But he didn't. You know why? Because he was loyal to San Diego.
That's right. Kids.
He was loyal to San Diego.
You know how hard it is to uproot that family?
Yeah, they moved to Indiana.
Yeah. Connor's argument almost proves the point for Brady, Peyton, being the guys that go in because they did just that.
Yeah,
They went
sure.
out, they beat Tom, they beat Phil, they beat Ben.
But they're already, those two obviously are already in.
They're in the Hall of Goats.
Drew Brees already in. Aaron Rodgers already in.
Look, if you don't have the championships, you should at least be able to say you were the best player at your position in that era. And I don't think he can say that
What the fuck
at any
does
year.
that even mean? I mean, that is I don't like the way this conversation goes. I don't like it because all those are valid points. And I appreciate the fact that you all hold the Hall of Fame in such high regard. Okay, like I respect and appreciate that you guys feel as if, my standards as a fan of the game.
Hell yeah.
As a young boy, I would watch and analyze games. In my Hall of Fame, you have to have championships. I respect that. I respect the fact that y'all motherfuckers think you matter that much. I do. I like that a lot. And I like that you like the sanctity of the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that you appreciate what the Hall of Fame is. But at this point, I mean, come on. We got 7 hours of speeches every single year. It is no longer what you guys think the Hall of Fame is, okay? Nope. Maybe year 1, they let in 1 person. Maybe year 2, they let in 2 people. But now we're at the point where I've never heard of this person, played nose tackle for a team 55 years ago. And they're like, hey, this guy's contribution to this team, and they won championships, was a big deal. I'm like, okay, cool. The NFL thinks that this person should be representing the NFL. If it was treated as if only a starting 11 basically in on offense and a starting 11 on defense and that type of thing, I would understand what you guys are referring to. But that's not what the Hall of Fame is. The Hall of Fame now is not this you have to be the greatest of all time at your position. I mean, that's just not how it goes. That's just not what it is. And I think Phillip Rivers has quite an argument to say, I was the guy for 17 fucking years. I mean, that's a long ass time.
He also never missed a game.
Oh, whoa. Iron Man, dude.
Not once.
Fucking Iron Man.
252 straight starts.
Play with a torn ACL in an AFC championship.
If he had more playoff games, he'd have more games straight, by the way.
Yeah, he would.
What are you going to say, Bill?
To Connor's point, people that could beat Peyton and Brady back-to-back, Joe Flacco did just that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
What year was that, Bill? What year was that,
Bill? Fuck out of here, Bill.
Yeah, was Peyton Manning on the Broncos in 2012?
A lot of good defense on the AFC
I don't think he was.
He wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
That's why Bill's wrong, and he's a stooge.
Whoa! Well, he might have been, actually, 2012. He might have been.
I
don't think they lost to Baltimore.
No.
You were saying only the Broncos, Peyton Manning?
Yeah. Because that was a
Well,
Jacoby
because he
Jones.
said, well, I guess did Flacco, were we in that year? Did we lose to Baltimore? We did, didn't we? No, we lost Baltimore. That's a great question. Did he beat? Because now Billy just dropped in on a sports show, which he is not. Billy is not. I mean, he's the gaming.
Yeah,
you know,
he's watching Naruto back there.
He's literally watching gaming right now.
Also, Flacco is a Hall of Famer, so.
Yeah.
Oh, footsteps, right?
Oh yeah, he's got a Super Bowl.
There's a lot of hate towards Phil Rivers going into the Hall of Fame.
A lot of hate.
I don't understand it. I appreciate that people, like taking ownership over the Hall of Fame. Like, no, he doesn't deserve to be in my Hall of Fame. It's like, who the fuck are you? That's a great question.
He definitely wasn't, because 2013 was his first year when he broke all those records, and the Broncos lost to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
So
Ravens beat the Colts 24-9 in the wild card round the year they won the Super Bowl.
Then they went to Denver.
24-9. Oh, we got killed. Was that when Luck was quarterback? No. Who was quarterback?
Good question.
No idea. But either way, it wasn't back-to-back, because if it was Colts wild card, then Broncos, then Brady.
Bingo.
So, sorry, Bill.
Well, unless it was Luck at quarterback.
Yeah.
Then, which I think it potentially was, because that was the game that Bruce Arians got sick the morning of the game.
It looks like it was
He
Luck.
did say that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he did. He went to Denver, played.
Oh,
No, because he sat out a year. No, his first year was 2013, when he had 58 passing touchdowns, and then they lost to the Seahawks by 40 points in the Super Bowl.
By the way, Bill just came in and dropped a bomb.
Yeah, Connor's just completely wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you are. Because if Luck was playing for us, that means Pate was
The
playing
Broncos had a first-round bye that year. They lost 38-35 in double OT to the Ravens.
Yeah, so.
And Payton was quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. If Luck was our quarterback, Pate was their quarterback. We lost 24-9
Good
that
for
game.
Flacco.
Fucking Vinatieri, only one scoring out there.
It's a murder's row.
It was tough. It was cold. It was very cold. I was also, I was there for Ray's last game in Baltimore. I don't know what year it was. I don't remember when it was. I was there for that. They had him go out for the kneel down. They beat us.
Really?
They had him go out for the kneel down. Which, by the way, more teams should do. More teams put like a running back or a wide receiver back there. You should have your safety back there for sure. And I don't know why more people don't do that. I'm not saying the middle linebackers to move, but you should have your safety back there. Because the only reason why you're there is for if there's a fumble and you have to tackle somebody. But Ray was there, and he was at the running back position or deep position. Whoever the hell it was, got snapped, took a knee, and then Ray hit the the whole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did. The
Celebration.
place went crazy.
Yeah.
His last entrance onto the field with the flames and everything, you could feel the heat from the flames like 100 yards away. I was punting on the other side of the field, and my face was just getting bad. It's like, oh, it's a little hot in here. All of a sudden, woo! And then he got that grass.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty electric. And they won, by the way. Felt like that was probably going to happen. Ray's last game.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is going to play this weekend. He is, if my calculation is right, after learning what the steps are for the concussion protocol, he's in step 3 currently. And there's 5 steps in this entire thing. I believe you have to start with some light stretching. Then there's some aerobic shit. And then there is basically supervised practice by athletic trainers for 30 minutes or something like that. They said that he'll be listed as limited or did not participate, but he is participating. He's just going to be under the watch of the athletic trainer, which I believe is step 3 or step 4. I think it's step 3 of the concussion protocol. Once he feels good there, then something else has to happen. Then an independent person, and then he's cleared to get out of the protocol. The very interesting situation here with Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, going in championship weekend, it's a big deal. He's one of the faces of the NFL. Unbelievable football player. He gets taken out. The Browns almost make it in there. I didn't think there was any chance that he was not going to play. I didn't know how. I didn't see how that was going to happen. But with the independent neurological consultants making the decision, he has not been there yet. I'll be in. What if? What if like the team doctor says, hey, he's good. And then the independent guy goes, we need another 24 hours or so. And then that report of he's been cleared by the team, but not by the independent doctor. The conversations that'll happen out of that will be awesome. I mean, that'll be awesome. Where's the doctor from? Is the doctor from Buffalo? Whoa. What are some ties to the doctor? I mean, there's going to be a whole thing, but it's nice to know that Patrick Mahomes probably playing this.
Depends on the age, most likely, of the doctor. If it's a young doctor, a little more concerned about the concussions.
Oh, you're saying that you think a younger player, a younger doctor is going to be more likely to be like, oh, CT, pretty real thing. Like there's big problems here. Can't send you back out there. You are the face of the league. Don't need you not knowing your name next year. Or do you think older doctor, are you saying in the same thing, older doctor goes, I remember when. And he talks about a 3 concussion guy going out there?
Yeah.
So you're disrespecting the doctorship of whatever doctor it is completely.
Most likely, I assume so.
Yeah, okay. That's very nice of you. I am intrigued how that process works. I've never had to be there. Like, who do they fly a doctor in? Is the doctor from the town?
There's no way he could be from Kansas City, right? Because that's not really impartial.
Yeah, because normally they don't allow refs, I don't think, or even potentially from the area, although Saints-Rams with the pass interference, that guy did have a house in L.A.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah. Poor decision looking back on that. So is the independent doctor from Kansas City? Or is he from the Kansas City, Kansas? You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Oh, he's not from Kansas City, Missouri. He's from Kansas City, Kansas. Different city.
Well, Favre's telling him not to play, too. Favre said, hey, Mahomes, if by the time you get there, if you're just not feeling right, doctors might just have to say you can't play.
Hey, Favre's a hero.
Which is interesting
nice guy.
because Favre probably played concussed in like 60 to 70 games.
Whoa, more than that.
You know?
Well, that's what you say.
Well, yeah, but don't throw stones at glass houses. You did it. Let Pat do it.
Oh, so now you're saying, hey, listen. You went ahead and just buried your brain.
Yeah.
All right. Let Pat do the same damn thing.
He's trying to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just pay attention to your text messages, Brett.
Whoa, come on.
Come on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's an independent doctor on every sideline, right?
Every game, yeah. Every game has
on both sidelines.
No, I think just one for the game, and that person's supposed to watch and say, "Oh, that person's a bit woobly. We need to check and get them off the field." But if that person doesn't know anything about football, I mean, that was a very interesting rollout of that because I was privy to a conversation between a player and one of those doctors, and it's a stinger. It was a stinger. You know what I mean? It was a stinger. So there for a second when that thing got pinched, I couldn't feel my arm or whatever, but it's good now. And the doctor goes, okay, give it a little test. All right, yeah, all right, you're good, yeah. I'm like, well, that guy was dead. That guy was knocked unconscious. That was like the first year. They've had to add a lot of different things into this because anytime you have an independent person making a decision that is worth potentially hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, that person cannot be compromised.
Right.
Not one bit in that entire thing. Happy Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing. He's a stud. Let's go to Eli in New Jersey. What's going on, Eli?
Hey, Pat. How you doing? Happy St. Sebastian Feast Day.
Oh, shout out you, dude.
Nice.
Thank you. Shout out you. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm a diehard Colts fan for my whole life. Phillip Rivers retiring and
Diehard Colts fan.
He had St. Sebastian Feast Day, too. He was probably going to have something pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good start.
Probably leading to who the Colts going to have at quarterback next year.
Or Phillip Rivers, or I don't know what I think he said Phillip Rivers there at one point.
Yeah.
Probably gonna tie in, then potentially go to.
Because
I saw Mitt tweeting this morning that he wants the Colts to select Mac Jones.
Oh,
who? Mac Jones. Very different than Mike Jones.
Very, very different.
Very, very, very different. Oh, yeah. Mac Jones might be the direct opposite of Mike Jones. Might possibly be.
Is it a foregone conclusion Jacoby Brissett is not going to be the starting?
Yeah, what's that all about?
I know he's a free agent, but he's in their locker room.
Yeah, because Frank said, he didn't see a team without Phil next year or whatever. And he got emotional or whatever. I wonder if Jacoby's watching that.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. So you put me out there for the fucking 4th and 1s, and
that's it.
My ass kicked, and then you send me on my way here. What's going on? No, I would assume Frank and Phil had a very close relationship. Chris Ballard said, "Well, we're going to think about it. He's going to think about it. We'll see what's going on." I wonder if Chris had a feeling this was potentially going to happen from previous conversations. But the Colts' quarterback position is one I believe will be desirable. Mm-hmm. Good team. Mm-hmm. Should they have went further this year? I believe they should have. They should have put themselves in better positions. I'm not saying they should have beat the Bills. I'm just saying they probably should have won the division. That team is very, very good, which might come into the conversation about Phillip Rivers at some point. Yeah. So, see what happens with the next quarterback. Yikes. But if we get Matty Stafford down here, okay, trade that 21st. Do whatever you got to do. Get rid of the pick. And just like Chris Ballard did last year with the 27 overall pick, he said he's just watching DeForest Buckner film. It worked, Chris. And you did say yes to Phil, no to Tom, for whatever reason, allegedly. Allegedly. We're not 100% sure if that happened. Bring Matty. Go ahead and save Matty Stafford, okay? Motor City Dan Campbell said, we're not rebuilding, we're retooling. Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the tools that you should go and get out of the work belt is Matt Stafford and let that son of a bitch get shined up somewhere else.
See, but if anyone's going to convince Matthew to stay, it's going to be Motor City Dan Campbell.
You think Matt Stafford's going to look and go, yeah, I want to do this every day. at this stage of my career with how bad this team's been. I want to do up downs maybe in team meetings.
Yeah.
Now give me 10.
Line drills.
For the next 6 years, by the way. 6-year contract.
Deal for Motor City Dan.
I love it.
Motor City Dan's going to turn that team around. All we're asking is fans of the game, of the sport, who hold the Hall of Fame in high regards. Let one of the game's best players get a chance to win some games so he doesn't have to sit here and listen to the slander like Phillip Rivers is taking right now.
Yeah.
Amen.
Let's say Dan.
From you in the back.
You know, I can't believe the rest of the Stooges in that room just sit there and You know, I thought Ty had some gumption. I thought Diggs had some spine.
Phil's a Hall of Fame
You know I don't
quarterback,
have a
my
spine.
friend.
Thank you. Bingo. Diggs does not have a spine. We know that.
Come on.
It's just, it's kind of tough, I think, for a lot of people to take you serious and the people that are saying it, and potentially like everybody that's ever played in the NFL. I think it's a pretty difficult thing to take serious.
I do like the spin that you put on it as a representative of the game.
Yeah,
because he's such a good guy and a good character.
Well, and he played for 17 years. I just think he's a represent. I think the Hall of Fame is like a celebration of your league. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here's our greatest. 17 years of quarterback, a fucking long time. Yeah. Now, I'm going to get picked apart by people on the internet with stats and things like that. It's going to get shoved.
No, he's got good stats.
Down my fucking Twitter feed's throat.
If you want to talk stats, we could throw Stafford in this Hall of Fame convo. He broke it. He's
going
to break.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, Matthew Stafford is going to be in the same exact position as Phillip Rivers if he just sits around in Detroit and lets Motor City Dan. Now, listen, maybe Motor City Dan gets him to the Super Bowl, okay? Go ahead and clip this.
Yeah.
Let's go. Maybe Motor City Dan gets Detroit to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, but Matt's going to need it. By the way,
I think it's more likely Motor City Dan has Matt running QB power, and his career ends about 4 or 5 years shorter than he wanted it to.
Motor City Dan?
Yeah.
You don't think he cares about Matthew Stafford?
Well, he wants to bring that tough mentality. What better way than, having Stafford run with a head full of steam behind a guard and, put his head down, get a couple extra tough yards here and there.
Motor City Dan with that big old chaw and telling Matty Stafford to get the yard. That would be awesome.
Doesn't have a chance.
I think they literally looked at Patricia and go, how can we hire someone that is the complete opposite, all right? Patricia was a guru, a defensive guru, and we got Campbell now who's just a motivator.
Man, Motor City Dan has never written anything down, so he does not have a Ticonderoga.
No.
You know what I mean? Dan Campbell seems like a doer, not a talker or a writer. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's suited up in the first practice playing middle linebacker for the Lions.
For sure.
I wonder... Motor City Dan, probably a cool guy.
Great.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a guy you would definitely want to be friends with. But, man, just the pictures of him and then the stories of him making the boys do the Oklahoma drill down there at the Dolphins on day one of the job.
They were going to war every day at practice. He said it after he got the game ball after they won his first game.
He's just like, he should bring in Rich Rodriguez to run that offense.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's get this thing. We are going to be a tough team, whether you like it or not. I love it. I would like to be friends with that guy. But now I'm talking about me as if I'm, on that team and I played for, 6-7 years. Yeah. And I kind of, I understand the business of this whole thing. I know, that I don't have a lot of years left. Is this how I want to spend them? Or do I potentially want to go, somewhere else where I don't have to potentially ram my face into another adult's face at 6:30 in the morning every day. I just think that is something you should think about. And maybe we got Motor City Dan all wrong, by the way. Yeah. He goes down to the Saints. He's assistant head coach and tight ends coach for the Saints. Maybe we got it all wrong, but it feels like that team is going to be a tough team up there.
Yeah,
which is good for Detroit, by the way.
Legitimately, though, the Lions are always going to be the Lions. So I'm just glad they hired the most entertaining possible candidate they could, because this is going to be an awesome 6 years.
Bro, 6 years is a long time. His press conferences are going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Today we got better. He's just big old chawing.
Bill Cowher reincarnated. But as far as Stafford's concerned, Nick, you could rest easy at night. Stafford's made one Pro Bowl. Has he ever been to the playoffs? Like, Phil's been in the playoffs 8 times and made the playoffs 8 times. Like,
I feel like it's harder to not make the Pro Bowl as a quarterback in the NFL. I honestly believe that. You watch the Pro Bowl, there's 14 chosen, basically. 7 from each side whenever it's all said and done, after the guys who've been there and been like, oh, this is all bullshit. And they say, I'm not going again. All right, we're on our 17th alternate here at quarterback. Oh, shout to this guy. never going to be a warranted a name or whatever. That's what the Pro Bowl is for the quarterback position. So the fact that Stafford's only made one Pro Bowl, that is mind-blowing to me. And maybe he was an alternative and he's turned it down a bunch of times, which I want to let you know. I really respect that that is what he has done. But that is very interesting that he's not made more Pro Bowls, and it's because it's the Lions.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got, Nick? You're going to say something?
Yeah, to Diggs' point, just like in this era of QBs, Rodgers, Manning, Brady, Ben, Breeze, probably Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's probably going to end up in that conversation.
He has not gotten one MVP.
Every starting QB from this generation in the Hall of Fame just because they relaxed the passing rules.
That is very interesting because the numbers are about to be absurd.
Everybody's going to put up big numbers.
There's going to have to be a lot of clauses, a lot of clauses. Because even the points scored, like Vinatieri has the all-time leader in points scored or whatever. But with the way offenses are going, with the amount of points that are
adding
going,
games too.
Yeah, and games are getting added. I mean, hey, listen, the Hall of Fame that you guys held near and dear, we appreciate. All right, with your tight rules and making it impossible to get in there. But we're changing rules so often. The game's changing completely. There's going to be 14 different segments of the NFL Hall of Fame, and that's just going to have to be something that I think we're all going to have to come to the understanding of. And I don't know if everybody's going to like it, but I assume the Hall of Fame is only going to buy more plots of land. I think it's only going to get bigger. I think only more people are going to get in there.
Well, and that's the thing. Maybe they hand out cards, black card, gold card, silver card, and that gets you to certain spots in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, shout out to Current Black Card, by the way.
Shout out to Current.
Good card. They did not pay for this, but it was sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's a cool looking card.
It is a cool card.
And if you're one of the GOATs, you can get into the GOAT side of the Hall of Fame with one of those.
What if your jacket came with actual horns? Oh. Huh? And maybe your what's that called? The bust.
There it is.
Nailed it. Hey, that's a big Hall of Fame thing. The bust. The bust also has like a goat helmet on.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
good.
it's like a goat helmet.
They could put stars on the shoulders
Like
too,
generals.
like generals.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
1 star, maybe that's where Phil ends up, and then 5-star. It's where the Mannings and the Breezes.
He's
and the
4 stars
Bradys.
off of them. Wow.
I don't know if he's 4 stars off.
Holy-
I'm just saying, perhaps if he were to only be on the lower tier, he'd fall into the 1 to 2 star category.
What if Phillip Rivers did what Eli Manning did? Said, I want to go to a team that has a chance to potentially win a Super Bowl.
Huh.
And does that whole move. It's a completely different conversation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because Eli's in, right?
Oh,
2
yeah.
Super Bowls. Eli Manning's definitely a Hall of Famer. But if you look at their stats, I would assume pretty similar. I've not looked at them.
I would
Phil's are better.
I would guess Phil's stats are much better.
Okay, so if Phil wasn't, a guy that was just like, shoot, like, yeah, this is where I'm going to go play. All right, I'll move my family. We'll create it. We won't ever leave. I won't ever be upset about anything. Let's just go ahead and do it. If he wasn't that guy, are we even having the conversation if he goes somewhere that's potentially a Super Bowl candidate? That is something that has to be talked about. We've spent 54 minutes talking about Phil Rivers.
We love Phil Rivers.
Welcome to the offseason.
Only Phil Rivers.
Not the offseason.
Welcome to Wednesday. With only 4 teams left.
Get used to it.
What a show. Told you yesterday, show's going to stink.
He
I
did
literally
say
said
that.
it. Tomorrow's show is going to stink.
Yeah.
Little did we know. Imagine if Phil didn't retire. What this show would be the worst. We got to get to a break.
Nice.
This one always makes you feel
Yeah, this is a good one.
You know what I mean? Hour 2, we will have Patrick Ricard.
Ooh.
Fullback. Baltimore Ravens. He's listed 6'3", 311 pounds.
Big body.
God, that's awesome. He does not look like it, by the
No.
way. He is a yoked individual. We'll ask him his workout plan, his mindset. He'll join us 25 minutes in hour 2. We'll take some more phone calls, talk about other things happening in the sports world. Sidney Crosby buried the Capitals last night in overtime. Greatest hockey player of all time. And other than that, really not much going on. Patrick Mahomes playing this weekend.
Yep.
Tiger Woods had back surgery.
Oh, no.
He'll be back, he said. Just like we will be in about 6 minutes. Go ahead and take a shit. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Trick shot challenge. Balcony. Yep.
Trick shot challenge, half court shot.
No problem. Matt or Foxy? These are fun games. These are fun little games.
What we want. You did it.
Trick shot, throw that football. Who?
Easy game. What's next, Foxy?
Got a trick shot for you.
Yeah, what is it?
Drop kick into the net. Trick shot challenge. Into the bucket.
By the way, I was standing.
Hold on, let me go over here. That's a good toss.
I'm gonna watch behind it for all that shit. What's next, brother? Got any more brain busters? I mean, I'm not sure it's better because we're in a building, but I have to keep it below the lights, below our air venter thing that broke and caught on fire yesterday. Can't go outside because it's a torrential downpour, so let's give it a go. In Indianapolis, Indiana. With the shot. Let's go! Terreno!
Trick shot challenge. 4 bags in a row.
That's a cornhole. It's not a trick shot. What's next? Cakewalk. How's it done? How's it done? You know what I mean? Well, I took the top off and he said he's gonna make it. Bingo! What a shot!
I had to put a little arch on it.
Number 2 pick in the NFL draft for a reason. Guy can spin!
There once was a football team that played at Lambeau Field in old Green Bay, the frozen tundra covered in snow. Oh, go you Packers, go. Soon may the Rodgers man come to bring us points. He'll pass and run with Adams, Tonyan, Williams, and Jones. We'll all cheer, go Pack, go. They won the North and number 1 seed. The D-Train helped protect the lead. We pay respects to Lombardi. Oh, go you Packers, go. Soon may the Rodgers man come to bring us points. He'll pass and run with Adams, Tonyan, Williams, and Jones. We'll all cheer, go Pack, go.
Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Pat McAfee Show here on Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll begin right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. That one seemed to go rather ham. The Patrick Mahomes situation in Kansas City is a very interesting one. We talked about it in the first hour, and one thing led to another in the conversation. And we get to Brett Favre, who every time he speaks, by the way, things come out of it. He is one of those guys that, he will start a fire, a little bit of a firestorm whenever he's the world gets a buzzing whenever Brett talks. This seems to be like every month or so at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Brett will do an interview with somebody, whether it's TMZ or I think he goes on NFL XM every once in a while. He'll go in there and he will say, like, Brett Favre, from all accounts, is a buzz-generating interview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett Favre, I guess, said, and I don't know his exact words, but something about Patrick Mahomes not playing this weekend because concussions are no joke, which everybody found very interesting because whenever he said them, this was before we knew if Patrick Mahomes was going to be able to play this weekend. And this is Colin Cowherd, a man who I have great respect for, okay? Incredibly entertaining guy. His work ethic is also something that should be talked about, like big Colin Cowherd. He said they should delay the goddamn game until Patrick Mahomes can get back into it. And he passionately said that. And there was some real thought, like, is this how the Final Four should be? Should the Final Four be, and especially the potential beginning of a dynasty, should it go down because Patrick Mahomes is out? Now, if it was COVID related, it would be a completely different discussion. The fact that it's a concussion, I think not as many people were on Colin Cowherd's side but Patrick Mahomes, not on the Kansas City Chiefs, is not the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a $500 million quarterback. So him potentially not playing this weekend, all the way up until today, basically, was a real thought. Like, is he going to play or not? This morning, Ian Rappaport basically alluded to the fact, like, hey, he's in step 3 of the protocol right now. He's very comfortable with where he's at. He has no symptoms. Basically, the Rappaport was tweeting that he's playing this weekend, but Rappaport couldn't say he was playing this weekend. Basically is what it felt like. Now, there's an independent neurologist consultant, right? Independent neurologist consultant. Is that the correct thing? I believe so.
It sounds right.
I maybe constituent, which I was called last night in a city council meeting. But there's a lot of things that have to happen. But whenever Brett Favre said his comment, there was real thought that he was potentially not going to play. What did Brett Favre exactly say, Diggs?
He said, I played 321 straight games. It kind of goes against everything that I stood for when I played, but you got to be smart. You've got to be smart. He said, I was never faced with a decision like he potentially will face this week. Ultimately, the decision may fall on the doctors, and if they choose that he doesn't play, then it's the right move because of the long-term damage. When you're in the moment and you're young, you're bulletproof. Man, I'm 51 years old, and I'm wondering what tomorrow will bring because of concussions more than anything.
Huh. Uh-oh. So he didn't say he shouldn't play, though. He basically said, like, if the doctors deem him in that whole thing. Yeah, Nick put out clickbait whenever Nick tweeted out that we said, Nick tweeted out that Brett said, this is the tweet that we put out. I'm getting heat right now on the internet, and this is going to become another Bleacher Report gridiron.
Oh, jeez.
This could become another. Brett Favre doesn't think Patrick Mahomes should play this weekend is the tweet that we put out. That's the exact thing. It's like, he's basically says he doesn't think he should play. If the doctors say he doesn't play, he shouldn't play or something like that. That's a very different world right there. That's a very different world. Nick just maybe dropped us into the beehive again.
Listen to the clip. It's what you said.
Well, listen, I wasn't saying it, though. I didn't even know what the clip was.
Don't put it on me. Put it on the people who gave you the false info.
Oh.
Huh.
Anyways, Brett Favre doesn't think Patrick Mahomes should play this weekend if the doctor doesn't think he should play this weekend, which is the concussion protocol, and he will be playing, which is good news. Go ahead, Diggs.
There was one final quote.
Maybe.
This is a test for the NFL right now to see a star player in a crucial game. What will happen with their decision? The protocol's in place. Let's see if they follow it. But that was...
Which he never did.
Does Brett Favre, was he alluding to the NFL potentially going like, hey, independent doctor, you want to continue to be our independent doctor? We find another independent doctor. He's good.
Check the box.
Huh? He's good? You know, he's got like commercials and Dynasty and $500 million coming. Good. Brett Favre is saying that that's potentially what they're thinking about almost doing, right? That's how that would have to play out.
Yeah.
There's no way the NFL could do that nowadays. That would come out so quick. Do you not think? Do you not think that would come out so quick?
I don't know.
I feel like everything on earth nowadays comes out so quick.
But I feel like they have a very good control over like what is actually getting out there. I mean, like you said with the independent doctor stuff, I feel like there's definitely still a way where behind closed doors they do exactly what you just said. It's like, hey, you want to fucking do this next week?
There's an independent doctor, right next door?
Guess what?
Yeah.
Pat's playing. Pat's playing on Sunday.
That would be wild if they did that, because at some point somebody would write a book. You know, in the NFL, maybe would just have to pay him off forever, I guess. Is that how you keep that person quiet? Because at some point somebody would say, well, I guess that's how the movies like Concussion start getting made.
Yeah. I do figure that in any contract with the NFL, number one right at the top, defend the shield. So I don't think everything after that follows. Yeah, protect the shield.
Protect the shield.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And then everything after that, do your job, blah, 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 blah. And then at the bottom again, protect the shield.
You do hear a lot of guys come out whenever something happens from the NFL side, ex-players, and they're like, we're always told, like, hey, protect the shield, protect the shield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, the shield, the shield, the shield. And it's real, because the league is a good one, and you're lucky to play in there. But then whenever things come out, it's like, are we protecting the fucking shield, or what are we doing up there? It's an interesting, because the thought of it, I would like to be, I think, naive enough to be like, no, that's not happening. Okay? I'd like to be naive enough. I would like to live in a world where I can fully, and I do, by the way. So this is where I don't think they do it. I don't think they're doing that. I don't think there's a chance of them doing that, just because if it was to be recorded somehow, especially at the world we live in now, and come out, it would jeopardize a lot with the league and the future of the league and the lawsuits of ex-players and current players and future players. I mean, there is just, I think that would be that'd be quite a roll of the dice, to be honest with you, now that we think about it. But can you completely rule it out? Brett Favre says, I don't think you can.
Well, if you think about the flip side, like, you know, obviously you'd never wish it or anything like that, but if like he were to get hit again and like something really bad happens, that would be whoever the independent doctor was, or they tried to shut up, he'd immediately like anonymously be like, yeah, I said, you know, he shouldn't play this week.
Yeah, it is interesting how you start hearing things immediately after something potentially happens.
Yeah.
Like the thought of Bill O'Brien potentially leaking some information about what's going on at the Texans organization is one that a lot of people on the internet are having, right? A lot of people, because there's a lot of things happening about Easterby and everything like that. And Bill O'Brien was fired from there, and it was like kind of a burn it down sounding type situation where everybody turned on. I wonder what the real story was. You know what I mean? I wonder what was going on everywhere. Was Bill O'Brien potentially caught in the middle of this whole buzzsaw as well, you know? And I think that's an interesting thing where we're calling him Billy O. Stooge.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe take that back and reassess the situation happening down there, because there's some, because whenever you hear like sources coming out or stories coming out, you always got to think like, who would want that out? And that's with every story. In that Easterby story, the ones that are coming out, like, okay, hey, I don't know if Easterby knows this, but there's some people that do not like what he has done. I don't know if he knows that, but then you got to start thinking, like, who would that be? And you never know who it's going to be. That's why you can always just guess. But that's why those insiders, never give up their sources or whatever.
I don't think we should completely clear Billy O'Brien. I don't think JJ would have let her players revolt for nothing.
But what if that wasn't what happened? JJ said he couldn't talk about it. JJ obviously couldn't talk about the owner and Easterby's relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if Billy O'Brien was actually on? Nah, nobody came out and said that, actually. Somebody would have came out and said that. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so you're right. So maybe Bill was part of the crew that Deshaun did not like. That probably seems a little bit more likely. Isn't he going to Alabama?
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Doug Marrone.
Yeah, Doug Marrone, Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to be an offensive line coach at Alabama.
Probably Pruitt's going back down there, too.
Pruitt, yeah, because he just got fired from Tennessee, right? They still got to pay him for like 5 more years or something like that. So Saban will have him come work on the staff for free. Tennessee will be paying. He'll be a consultant. And
send Patricia down there too.
Might as well.
Yeah, why not?
Run that fucking defense, pal. Yeah. Hey, get that Ticonderoga guy.
I need him in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God, Saban's just like the Fired Football Coaches Association of America down there. Come on and get right. Let's win some games and go get another job. Wow, good for him. Would you go down there and coach if you're in the NFL? I think you obviously would. You're going to win. You probably don't have to recruit much.
Yeah, get a
For
job.
sure.
It's probably
Right
pretty
after
nice.
it.
It's pretty nice, comfy gig.
Does Alabama? Do you think their coaches have to recruit anywhere near the amount everybody else?
No way.
Hey, congratulations! You got a scholarship offer to Alabama. All right.
Yeah.
See you later. We're gonna go to the town right next door, by the way, and the guy that's just like you, we're gonna offer him too.
Yep.
You guys are gonna be the same year. Just come on in. You're gonna compete. You're gonna learn. In one day, you're definitely gonna win a national championship. You'll just go to the NFL, get drafted top 3 rounds. All right. I'll sign there. No text messages, no drips on the TikTok.
I don't know. That
You know what I
helps,
mean?
though.
None of that. None of that with the recruiting. It probably would be pretty nice to get, I guess. Like Doug Marrone goes down there, offensive line coach. He's just coaching he's basically coaching in the XFL down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're just these guys are all basically going to probably end up at the NFL, at the same spot. Probably where we're going to be coaching, by the way. Let's just get a heads up on scouting here.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get our crew. That would be a good move, I guess, for fired NFL coaches. Just go down to Saban. That's why Saban can lose coaches every single year, and it doesn't matter because it's like, all right, actually, it keeps us fresh, by the way. Keeps our team. We kind of keeps everything kind of up to date, and we just get another coach with a great resume in here immediately.
If that is like a rehabilitation thing, though, like what team eventually is going to hire Doug Marrone after he went 15-40 or whatever in the NFL?
Excuse
It's like,
me.
oh, you went down to Alabama and just coached a bunch of blue chip guys for 3 years. Like, yeah, let's give you the head coaching job.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's for the coaches to get confidence again. Like, hey, let's go down here and let's win some games. Like, for instance, me and the Oculus playing ping pong. I call Foxy up. I say, hey, let's play. Let's build the confidence. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Let's play a little bit. Because Foxy hasn't figured it out yet. Foxy is going to figure it out, by the way. Foxy's going to be a very good Oculus ping
I
pong.
noticed that last night when we were playing. You were strangely nice. Like, you were, wanting me to get good at Oculus so you have people to play
Which
against.
would
And
make
then
me
once I
even-
get good, that's when the trash talk will come.
Yeah. I would like you to learn. You are good, though. He has a chance to be very good, is what I'm saying. What's that?
You're just building him up right now.
That's exactly what he was doing.
No.
I'd rather you bury me the entire time than treat me like a preschool kid. Like, here we go.
No, you will. By the way, because if not, it is no fun for you.
And
Like,
time
literally-
out with you being nice on this build-up. We all saw the video of him fucking practicing ping pong yesterday. He looked like Mickey in Fantasia swinging his arms.
Who are you talking about? You're talking about Foxy?
I was battling you, and I was battling my dog. I had no chance.
Hey, the Oculus Arena is coming to fruition, by the way. I am very pumped up about that.
It looks great.
It was Zito production, Tim McAfee production. Two similar-minded doers of things came together to create the Oculus Arena in my house. We have 5 chairs that hold 2 computers, a microphone stand, some other things. We have lighting. We have green paper that has been perfectly placed on a wall for a backdrop, a projector, this whole thing. I mean, it is going to be...
No joke.
It is going to be awesome. Let's go. Last night I wanted to go live immediately, but we were missing one wire. There's wires everywhere, by the way.
I know.
We're going to, by the way, we were going to take a wire from the headset up to the ceiling.
Okay.
Command strip it.
Through like a wire so that I can move freely. You know what I mean? Because there's a wire that has to go in. So we are going to have to figure that out. I think it is going to go through there. But we're going to be live. I thought we were going to be live. So because I was like, as soon as I got home, I was like, are we good to go? And Zito was like, I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm going to act as if we're going then, right? So I get right into it.
Oh, yeah.
The first person that challenged me in the ping pong game, that would have been our first live stream. Like if it would have, by the way, with zero information on the situation. If it would have worked out how I thought it was going to work out, with, once again, zero information on the situation. We didn't even have the right wire, which is my fault. I probably should have had it at the house anyways. So, but it's the first person to challenge me. The name was Coming For You, Pat.
Whoa.
Okay? He had like 15 to 16 ranked wins already. So there's ranked wins and then there's practice games. Ranked games are how you build your points, and then there's practice games you could play against each other. If he would have been the first one, his name is literally on the entire thing is Coming For You, Pat. And then he gets in there, by the way, he points at me and something like that and talks a little bit of shit.
Damn.
Yeah, he starts talking some shit. Then we go 11-3. And then we go 11-1, and he goes, I'm going to get better, and I'm going to fucking get you, and exits the room. Wow. That would have been magical. It would have been a magical little stream. That happens, though, in the Oculus Arena every single night. I love it in there, dude. I'm playing ping pong against people from like West Virginia. I'm playing ping pong against people from England. Conversations are happening. I mean, it is a very cool game. The only issue is if you're playing against somebody and they're very good, they're going to hit it very hard. The ball's going to come fast, very fast. Foxy learned that last night. Ball's coming, okay? Ball is coming. But every once in a while, there'll be, because you're wearing a headset that's connecting to somebody on the other side of Earth, okay? Every once in a while, there can be a glitch where the ball will disappear, and that son of a bitch will pop up on you, and that really buckles you there a little bit. But other than that, I see no faults in the goddamn game. I really don't. It's real ping pong in there.
It's so good, and that's why I didn't challenge you to a rematch, because I was like, all right, Pat's clearly better than me. I got to sharpen the sword.
Yeah, sharpen the sword. Sharpen the axe.
Yep.
And I would like it to be known that after Foxy realized what was about to happen in the Oculus Arena with ping pong and how it was going to take a little bit of work for him to get there, even though Foxy, very good ping pong player, probably the best ping pong player in your area. Are you you're the ping pong player of your group?
Me and one of my best friends are very good.
Okay, so everybody has like the, if you play ping pong, by the way, everybody had the one friend that had the ping pong table in the garage. Of course. And then you have one friend that is the guy. I would assume Foxy, you could tell that he's good, right? That's kind of what 11 is, by the way, is a bunch of the guys that are the ping pong friends in all their groups basically on there. It's a lot of fun. Like, I really, really enjoy it. The real time, it's just a blast. I can't wait to get live. The Zito production's going to come probably tomorrow, if I had to guess, because I was up all night. Because Foxy, was tweeting about how he was getting his ass beat in the ping pong table. And while he was sleeping, I was literally playing against my little fake,
just working.
My avatar person. And then every once in a while I'd pick up a game from a guy in Illinois. I'd pick up a game from a guy over there. And I just played for like another 2 hours, okay? Just playing against people. Just collecting wins, training a little bit. And then the final game, guy beat my ass. And I was like, well, that's it for
Time to go to bed.
It is a lot of fun, man.
It's awesome.
I am pumped for the stream.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the guys have Oculi now. Everybody basically has
that's
them.
my favorite thing. Everyone's like, Oculus is paying you guys to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, they are not. We should be, by the way. I guess that is something that definitely should have happened.
Yeah. It's kind of like Arby's, though. We love Arby's, so we talk about it.
And then we got to deal with it.
Exactly.
So let's hope that this happens.
Yeah.
Boy, the boxing in there, too. I can't wait to start streaming.
It's going to be so fun.
Now, we can't do the games. And then they got fucking... they got like real baseball in there.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
Hey, you're taking BP with like an actual pitcher.
Damn.
Yeah, we can't figure out how to download it, but that type of like you're seeing like 92 mile an hour pitches.
I think you can upload like guys who are actually in the majors, and it's like
it's their pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to fucking sit lefty. I can bat lefty.
Finally.
This is the first time. I enjoy it. I'm very happy. I think I said this to Mansouri last night, or Nick, one or the other. I'm very happy we're alive in the time where we figured it out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty cool to be in the virtual reality time.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen with it later? Probably going to get fucked up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're in there, you're like, oh, my God. All right? Because you feel like you're actually in a different world in there. So you assume at some point it's going to get fucked up. But right now, new, awesome, surprisingly impressive in a world full of things that aren't really that impressive. Like when in the tech world, things like now we've seen everything. It's hard to get there. When you're punching that guy, he gives in, like his body gives in and like his sweat falls off his head. It's insane how good it is in there.
Oh, you can use an actual baseball bat.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's fucking
good
sick.
news. Just got called back to the majors. Let's go. All right, we got to get to a break. We got a probably the football guy of the AFC, if you had to guess.
Oh, yeah.
Fullback for Baltimore Ravens, Patrick Ricard. 6'3", 311-pound fullback. For the Baltimore Ravens, a run-heavy team. Have to have a good fullback, by the way, if you want the option to work, because the dive has to be a threat. That's why he's in the Pro Bowl and will be probably for the rest of his career. I believe he went to where? Maine? He went to Maine. Drafted, undrafted?
Undrafted.
Cannot wait to talk to him. He'll be joining us on the other side. You got about 4 minutes on this Wednesday, January 20th. The show stinks. We know it. It's Wednesday, but Patrick's going to make the show much better.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm.
Be a friend, tell a friend. This is Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Those plane rides home from an away game, an away victory, are some of the best times I've ever had in my entire life. And it's dudes at 35,000 feet with a terrible sound system because you have somebody's cell phone going into that over the plane. And it was just like it was like real happiness for a lot of people on that team. I don't think they experienced a lot of real happiness because of how focused they were on their jobs. There were a lot of older guys. So like their only moments of happiness, I think, were those flights home. Like after a big win, like genuine happiness. Their entire life was dedicated to football. So all week, all they were thinking about was the game. And then that trip home, that like 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it was like a moment for them just to completely like relax and not worry about next week or the past week, their family, nothing. We're at 35,000 feet, nobody else around us except for us. That is a real moment that I don't think a lot of people know about or appreciate, is the flights home from away victories are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Those are good times, man. Really good times. You got people singing. My favorite story is of an offensive lineman, and I won't say his name, but he was asked to sing, right? So if a rookie's asked to sing, like, you got to go sing. So he grabbed the microphone, and he didn't know that the owner's daughter just so happened to be on the team's plane, sitting up in the very front or in the very back. So they kind of have it off. So he kind of got comfortable in his current surrounding and didn't know about the entire surroundings. And he grabbed that thing, and he was not expected to sing a song. I fornicated 2 bad ladies at the same damn time. At the same damn time. At the same damn... And then he started feeling it because a lot of people were like, okay, yeah. Big white guy. Massive white guy. Nobody thought he was going to sing this song. So everybody starts, like, gassing him up. You know, he's like, I fornicated 2... He starts yelling into this thing. And then all of a sudden you see a little assistant from the front come waltzing back the aisle and grabbing the phone out of his hand. And he's like, what? Like yelling at him while the thing's still on. So now the entire plane hears him yelling at this assistant. And he like puts the phone down, and we're all like, oh no, like no fun. All right. They're like, Carly Ursay's on this plane. We're like, oh. Everybody just puts their headphones on, sits right back down. Just an hour and a half of silence. That kid thought he was getting cut immediately off the plane. And he did. And he did.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back to the show. Most guys have tried a lot of different ways to, try to last a little bit longer when making love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Think about your baseball team. That's a boring sport. That'll turn me off, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Maybe you start listing off cities and states. Maybe you start doing the alphabet backwards. Whatever you end up doing, you need to not do it anymore.
Knock it off.
None of it's going to work. Okay? Before the time you get to the shortstop, it's already happened. All right?
That's right.
What you need is a real tag team partner whenever you're going in there. And our friends at Roman created just that with Roman Swipes. Roman Swipes are a swipe that comes in a discreet, unmarked package that shows up at your door. Then it's in a tiny little packet that you put in your pocket, small enough to fit in your wallet. Then right before it's time to make some love, right before it is time to go ahead and try to procreate, maybe. Whenever it's time to go and put on a show, you go ahead and rub the swipe on. It'll dry. It'll not transfer to your partner at all.
Nope.
And then you just have the time of your life. Yeah. GetRoman.com/Pat McAfee. Jesus. That's GetRoman.com/Pat McAfee. No spaces. And you can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan.
All right.
Shout out to Roman. Shout out to you. Shout out to GetRoman.com/Pat McAfee. That's going to be tough.
We'll see.
I mean, there's a lot of options for failure there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
People do not spell my name right. I would assume a lot of people do not pronounce this guy's name right on a regular basis.
No.
This man is listed at 6'3", 311 pounds, plays fullback for the Baltimore Ravens, is a Pro Bowler. Out of Maine, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Ricard.
Let's go, Patrick.
How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be here.
So you're 6'3", 311 pounds?
So that weight is a little distorted nowadays. That's when I was playing defensive line as well. That was from actually last year's OTA weight when I was playing defensive line. This year I knew I wasn't going to be playing defensive line, so I've been around like 295, 290. I know it doesn't sound as good as 311, but I'm still a big guy moving around playing fullback. So yeah, I don't need all the extra weight because taking double teams and stuff, that's not happening playing fullback. So.
Well, there's some other collisions happening, and I assume my friends who have been big guys because of their profession, which D-line have to be, offensive line you have to be, whenever they get under like 300, there's like little milestones. Whenever I get under 300 pounds, my knees feel 50% better or something. Whenever I get under 295 or 285, the whole milestone thing. Was that how your body reacted too? Like you feel incredibly light at 295?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I'm a pretty lean guy as it is, so me losing that weight,
you're a monster.
For sure. I almost feel just as strong, just as play just as physical. But yeah, definitely my knees. I've had surgery on my knees in college, so that definitely takes off a little bit of weight. But overall, I mean, I still feel just about the same, honestly.
Man. Have you always just been a monster? That is incredibly large and athletic and lean too. Like that's not a normal thing at all. Have you always been this way? Did you hit a massive growth spurt, or have you always been a big-bodied man?
Yeah, as a kid, I was a pretty average kid. I wasn't one of the big kids. I wasn't a small kid. I always tell people when I went into high school, I was like 5'8", 155, and then all of a sudden, my sophomore year, I just hit a growth spurt, and I just started. Every year, gained about an inch or two, gained about like 15, 20 pounds. When I got to Maine, I was like 6'1", 6'2", like 255. And then every year from that, I just continued to gain weight and weight. I was 285 my senior year of college, and then gained 15 pounds for my pro day. I was 300. And then I just been fluctuating from 310 to 300 to 290 for the last 4 years. So, definitely just kind of became a big person all of a sudden.
I go from 270 to 230 all the time for much different reasons. It is quite a comfort run there. Are you from Maine? How did you end up at Maine? How did that whole process go about?
No, I'm from Massachusetts, small town, Spencer. It's right next to Worcester, which is central Mass, about an hour from Boston.
Did you play in the IPL? No, the
ISL.
ISL?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. So no.
I thought it was fake. What is it called? The
Independent School League, the ISL.
The Independent School League?
Mm-mm.
I fucking knew it was fake.
He's an MIAA guy.
Anyways. Sorry.
I went to Maine because that was my only Division I offer at high school. So I had to take that. I wasn't going to have my parents pay for school.
Smart.
That's how I went to Maine. My only offer. So I took that.
I did not know. I should have done more research before this because my research is on Sundays. I like to watch all the games, okay? And every once in a while, there will come a time in one particular game, the Ravens game, where it'll become it seems like a replay of you just fucking barreling people. I mean, just absolutely. There's been a couple shots, I'm sure you've seen them, where the camera was close, you're going to the left, and it was like the perfect highlight reel for a fullback, and then it happened again, and then it happened again. How has the transition been to fullback? Obviously rather easy. Is it a position you had played before you got here, or is it one of those things where they're like, you're athletic, you seem to be big, let's go ahead and see if you can get in the backfield, and it was just a natural fit?
It's kind of the mix of the two. I played fullback in high school, but it was a double wing offense. So that's not a normal offense whatsoever. It's all 6-inch splits, 2 tight ends in line, 2 wings, and a fullback with the quarterback under center. And I would get my stance, touch the quarterback, and it's all right there. So it's all gap scheme, power. We ran the ball every play. We probably passed the ball probably like 10 times throughout the whole year. So I did that in high school and played linebacker. Went to Maine, played defensive line there. Had to learn how to play defensive line. Never even got into a stance until I got there. And obviously I have a scholarship there, so I was there to play defensive line. Played defensive end, moved me the next year, gained some weight to 3 technique, and played nose and 3 technique my whole career at Maine. And then it was when I was undrafted at defensive lineman, I signed with the Ravens. And about a week into OTAs, I'm there, and Greg Roman, who's our offensive coordinator, was the tight ends run game coordinator at the time, and just needed a fullback because Kyle Juszczyk signed that big deal with San Fran that offseason, so they didn't have a fullback. And it was just kind of, me being there for a week. I was moving pretty well for my size, playing defensive tackle, and they weren't maybe entirely sure if I was going to make the team at that point from what they saw from me on defensive line. So they're like, hey, let's get this guy to try a fullback. Had 1 rep. It was 90 lead in practice. I did a good job, and I was pretty smart too. I was undrafted, so I'm trying to make the team any way I can, trying to make a name for myself. I stood right next to Coach Harbaugh, sat right next to him after that rep, and we were just talking, and I said, I used to play fullback in high school. And right then and there, I saw something in his head, started turning like, okay, like he's done this before, like let's give him some more reps. And that's kind of what happened. I kind of started getting more reps in OTAs, that training camp, and then I made the team fullback, and I was still playing defensive line. I played defensive line, fullback, and special teams for the last 3 years until this year.
And so this year is when you made the official jump. I'm just going to go ahead and dominate this one particular position. You said you played the wing thing in high school. It feels like this is the perfect offense. Obviously, an offense in 2021 that has a fullback as one of their main contributors on when it comes to plays. It's going to be a run-heavy offense, right? You guys, just J.K. Dobbins, Gus, Lamar, and then obviously Mark just got released or whatever, but the run game has just been something that's magnificent. Do you think, through the year, because there was a lot of conversation about the rate, was it the COVID that slowed you guys down, you think, in the middle of the year there? Whenever all that shit was popping off with the Titans on the shield and everything like that? And was that, because there was a time where you guys disappeared from the conversation. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, Lamar isn't going to work anymore. And then all of a sudden, bang, end of the season, here we are. Okay, thought you guys were going to go on a run. What do you think it was this year as one of the leaders of the team, I'd assume, and everything like that in the middle of the season, looking back, hindsight?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were 6-2 at one point of the year, and then we just had a 3-game losing streak, and then it was to the Patriots, the Titans, and then the Steelers. And the Steelers is when we had that COVID outbreak. It was crazy, man. We had about 10 days straight of positive tests in the organization, half players, like 20-something players, 20-something staff, and ultimately lost that game. And I think after that point, we had a bunch of guys come back from COVID, and I was one of them who had it. Mild symptoms, I was okay. It was, felt like a little flu.
Hey, congrats, by the way, on beating COVID. Yeah, congrats on beating COVID, Patrick.
But I think at that point, we were 6-5, and we knew that if we lost another game, we weren't going to make the playoffs. And I think at that point, we just kind of really took it day by day. And I think a lot of people having COVID and being out of the building for about 2 weeks, it was about 10 days. You kind of just took everything for granted, I guess, and just really wanted to win games and just make sure that we were going to get in the playoffs. But in the middle of the year, I don't think any of us saw that coming. Just those couple of games we lost. There were tough games. There were tough, opponents. But yeah, getting COVID and everyone just kept coming back together. We just knew we had to just win these games, game after game after game, and we kind of were in that playoff mode the whole time. Versus last year, we were 14-2, and then it was playoffs. It was like, all right, time to kind of we can't lose this game. This year it was a little different in that sense.
Yeah, a little bit. You had to win earlier. Every game was a must-win type game. It was electrifying to watch you guys get back into what was happening last year and at the beginning of the year. It was amazing. You guys win a playoff game. Take a step, right? Everybody's talking about, we need to take a step. We take a step. What do you guys need to do, you think, to take the next step? What do you think you need to do to go on the run all the way to Mr. Lombardi's mountain there? What do you think?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this offseason with a bunch of guys, especially on our defense. A lot of free agents this year. So it's going to be interesting to see who we have back, who we're going to draft. But, I think the nucleus for this team, it's here, man. Back-to-back divisional rounds. The coaching staff, I believe most of everyone's going to be back. There's some defensive guys right now who are taking, defensive coordinator jobs. So I'm getting like that.
You like the locker room, though, huh? The locker room's good. You guys love what you guys have.
Everyone saw last year with the whole big trust thing, and that's just kind of who we are. We're really close, and every guy that's been here from different teams have said, man, like, this place is really special, and it's a great organization. They treat us like family, and they kind of let us, be who we want to be when we're there. This is my only team I've been on, so I don't really have too much of like an insight of other organizations and locker rooms, but we really do have a good team. And I think that's, a big thing for us moving forward is just getting guys who think like us. We call it play like a Raven. Those are the guys we want in our locker room to help us push that next step to get to the AFC Championship and ultimately, like you said, get a Lombardi back to Baltimore.
Hey.
I know.
Hey, that'd be awesome to watch. What are we doing? What are we doing in the off season? What are the workouts we're doing? If I want to get Patrick Ricard. You grew up in Massachusetts. What did you do? Any hobbies as a kid? You guys are just cold as shit up there, right? And then Maine gets even colder. What goes on up there?
I don't know. I'm from a small town, so people just, I don't know. Shoot, it must be like anywhere else, right? I'm from kind of a country, kind of blue collar town, so. I have a lot of brothers and siblings and a bunch of family members who are all really close together. So we're always just hanging out. And, I know when I get back up in Massachusetts next week, I'm going to start going to the gym for sure. And I'd probably slap together a little home gym and just do things in my house. And
what are we doing? Explosive? Power? What are the workouts?
I actually follow my strength coach's program here. It's a lot of, powerlifting things. And I do things on my own, just like little stability stuff and core things like that. Yeah, definitely a little bit of power cleaning, but it's more just different.
Fucking stop that, Patrick. Connor?
Yeah, Patrick, because you just eviscerate people on the football field, do you talk a lot of shit, or you're just kind of like a silent brick out there?
I'm more of a silent kind of player. I've never been one to trash talk. Unless someone talks trash to me or starts saying something crazy, then I let them know. But I let my play talk instead of running my mouth, because I know running your mouth, it doesn't help you. You look like an idiot half the time.
Do you just wake up wanting to run people over? A very interesting position you have. Your position is literally, okay, I'm attempting to run people over. That is your job, basically, on every single play. That has to be a mentality, I'd assume, right? That has to be a mentality. And what do you think is the difference between the mentality of a fullback versus maybe another position?
So for me, if I come out of a game and I do not put a defensive player on their back, I feel like I didn't have a good game.
Okay, so that's like a touchdown. That's a touchdown.
Yes, like in my eyes, getting guys on their back in games, that's the ultimate move as a fullback for dominating somebody, and that's how I pride myself. And if I'm not doing that at least once a game, I think, okay, I did pretty good here and there. But yeah, it's definitely a mentality thing. As a fullback, you were able to run full speed into someone else who has to run full speed into you, and it's pretty much like, all right, what's going to happen as soon as that happens? Am I going to go backwards? Is this guy going to go backwards? And playing offensive line, defensive line, you're right there already. You're just boop, you're hitting each other, and then it's drive. Fullback in a linebacker or a DB or defensive end, when I'm motioning across the field, I'm running full speed, and that's my job, is to get them moved out of there or on their back or whatever it is. And I love doing it.
It's an Oklahoma drill. You do an Oklahoma drill every play.
Just about, yeah.
So now that we've got to that, we have a guy in our office who played in the independent
school league,
the ISL up there in Massachusetts. And he played against A.J. Dillon in high school in the independent school league. And he was a fifth-year senior. Is that normal in Massachusetts, by the way? In Massachusetts, is it a normal thing just to do your junior year again at another high school, and then you're like a 19-year-old senior?
I've never heard of that.
Thank you. Say no more.
It's common.
It's very common. Say no more. I appreciate that. Anyways, somebody that I just referred to that did that was a fifth-year senior. A.J. Dillon was a freshman. And there is a highlight that is nothing like how he described the play, but there is a highlight of A.J. Dillon breaking like 6 tackles, and then he comes, cleans him up on it, and puts him on his back, by the way. He puts him on his back, right. A.J. Dillon on his back.
Touchdown.
And he talked about it. So now he and A.J. Dillon are doing an Oklahoma drill this offseason, full pads. If you were him, is there any tips for your real-life job, which is an Oklahoma drill every single play? What would you do to a man who hasn't done much athletically in a little bit?
8 years, probably. Just around.
Taking on A.J. Dillon in an Oklahoma drill. Any thoughts?
I mean, the biggest thing, you definitely have to get lower than him. Like, that's an absolute must. If you're a little bit higher than him, you're going to be right then. It's over. So you have to get low. And as soon as you hit him, you're going to have to make sure your feet are moving. If your feet stop and he's a little bit, maybe you're a little bit lower than him, it doesn't matter, because if his feet, this man's feet are going to be moving. So you're going to have to make sure you're lower than him. Your feet are moving. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, too, is just get your hands inside of the man. Because if you're out here or doing anything crazy, you have complete control when your hands are nice and tight.
It's funny you say that, Patrick, because we were talking about strategy just this morning and yesterday. And what Connor was thinking was actually to jump a little bit and
tackle the head. Tackle the head. You know what I mean?
The complete opposite. Tackle the head. Literally couldn't be more opposite of what you just suggested. Do you have any thoughts on his particular idea of the jump and wrap? Or I thought maybe jump, spin, get on his back, backpack, get out of the way as much as possible. Do you have any other thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe tackling him like that might work, but jumping on his back is not going to help, because he's just going to take you for a ride at that point.
True.
Yeah, that'd be fun though. That'd be a good time.
Is it to the hospital?
Then we'll be laughing.
Call the ambulance. Not for me. I'm on the back. But Patrick, sorry, this show is incredibly stupid. You should probably get a much better interview than you're currently getting, and that's 100% on us. What's that? When did you know Lamar Jackson was the guy? Was there a time, because you were playing, I guess, D-line at the time, and then you were part-time fullback, which is normal, by the way, goal line. Normally you have somebody come in, whether it's offensive lineman, D-line, then you go full-time. Was there a moment where you guys knew Lamar was the dude, or was it as soon as he got there, they're like, oh, this guy is different?
I mean, he was a first-round pick for us in 2018. That's my second year here. In OTAs, when he first got here, just seeing this man move around and run around and the things he could do just physically and just the raw talent he had, you knew he was special at that point. I think all it took was a little bit more development in his game to learn this system and learn these plays and what he has to do, and then get the reps on top of it. Because Flacco was still our guy. He was still getting all the reps with the ones and getting more of the reps in practice and whatever it was. And at that point, I think you just knew, like, once Lamar got, his shot to be the number one quarterback, he was going to take it. And he got that. I think he probably played 5 or 6 games his rookie year. And we were in a losing streak. And then they put Lamar in because Flacco had an injury. And that's when we started winning a bunch of games. And then we went into the playoffs. I think for me personally, it was when OTAs, when you first got here, you knew there was something special about him.
After that rookie year, by the way, Harbaugh, as you know, went all in on the Lamar Jackson package, basically. Helped that whole thing out. Tight ends, let's get a big-ass fullback in here. Let's make this dive a threat every single time, or at least move some people. What do you got, Diggs?
Patrick, you talked about running full speed and meeting human beings in the hole. Besides Robert Spillane, who was a dude this year who you met in the hole and was like, I didn't expect that from them?
Yeah, Bob Spokane, dude. He was. Have you ever seen? Hey, have you seen Bob Spokane's neck? By the way.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Do you judge that whenever you're going into a week? Is that something you think about? Like, hey, that son of a bitch.
What's that guy's neck size?
That guy is going to bring a dump truck with that neck.
Sometimes, I mean, yeah, of course. If they have a big ass neck, they're not scared to hit dudes.
True.
But I got sidetracked.
Other than Bob, who's somebody that hit you that you were like, okay, that was a great collision, or who's somebody that you jousted very well with? Like every collision was a big time shot. Has there been anybody?
It doesn't happen often. I don't want to sound like I'm all cocky and all this stuff. But
Dude, you're a 2-time Pro Bowler for a fucking reason.
Linebackers are right. I got 50 pounds on them. I'm trying to think. I know, for me, I think it's more defensive end. I think it's more defensive ends, honestly, because they're big guys.
Who's
they're big
tough?
Dudes. I don't want.
Who's tough to dominate? I don't
know. Yeah. Myles Garrett is a big dude. That's for damn sure. Like hitting guys his size, like that's an example I would use. Like a Myles Garrett, like those guys. You hit them, and you're not going to move them very much, but you got to move them just a little bit or occupy them.
Yeah. What is?
I mean, they're all the same size.
What is the goal? Because you'll see some blocks, and they're like, it looks like you barely even touch, or like an offensive lineman will be out in space, and a corner will try to duck them, and they'll get like on their shoulder, but it's like, no, that's considered a great block because the fact that they were there, they made the play. Is your goal to square somebody up every single time? Is it like, I just need to move them a little bit for this particular play? Is there different ways on how you have to like dominate a human?
Yeah. So depending on the play and where the ball is trying to hit, you have to take the blocks on differently. So like a power play, a gap scheme, if I'm kicking out the end, I have to make sure I kick them out enough to where there's space to where our pulling guards can pull around, our back can hit the hole. So it's always different. Like when I'm doing like a quarterback driven run, for those runs, it's more just fitting the guy up because half the time it's going to be JK or Lamar running around. And with those guys, all you got to do is just get on a guy, kind of stay square, and let the back have either the edge or, be able to cut it inside whenever you want. So I think those blocks it's just more of just fitting guys up, but more like gap scheme and things where you have to move guys. Those are more important of actually moving them. For the most part, you're just fitting guys up and, getting the block done. But for me, I'm trying to move guys every time.
Do you have any holding calls?
I have one this year and one last year. Other than that, not really.
Is that the worst? Is that just the worst?
Yeah,
whenever
it sucks because your coach is gonna be pissed. That sometimes it's a bullshit call, and then sometimes you got to deal with it. But I don't have too many, so I pride myself on that too. So
and also the 10-yard is just it is so much. I mean, it's a drive killer. That should move to a 5-yard penalty, I think. I honestly believe that should be a 5-yard penalty because if they call it, it's such a subjective call. It could be called technically, I guess, on every single play, and you can't review it. It just feels like that shouldn't be something that stalls a drive if we're trying to get the best possible product. Ty, what do you have?
Patrick, obviously love the fullback mentality, but have you at any point went to Coach Roman or Harbaugh and been like, hey, I need at least 15, 20 touches a game. Let me run downhill with this thing and score some touchdowns.
I know my role here. Okay, so, but I mean, when I know when plays are called and I could possibly get the ball, I mean, I get excited. I mean, who wouldn't get excited?
Bingo.
And I know when the opportunity comes, I'm like, all right, this ball's thrown to you. Make sure you catch it first of all, and make sure you don't fumble this bitch because
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had 9 catches this year, and for some reason, the Titans game, I had 3. Or targets. Ooh, there we go.
Athlete. 295 pounds. Just stalking the field.
Like I didn't play offense in college at all. So coming here, being a defensive lineman, and now possibly getting the ball in the NFL, I mean, that was something I never thought would ever happen. Like I'm not asking for touches or anything like that. I mean, maybe this year, just because of how well I was doing towards the end of the year with receiving yards and things like that, more than normal than I was throughout the year. Maybe my role will expand a little bit more and me running more routes and getting the ball a little bit more. So
maybe some mats.
Work my move a little bit because half the time I get the ball in space. I'm like, do I make a move on this guy? Do I, do something crazy? But half the time I just lower my damn shoulder because that's all I really know.
Yeah. And by the way, another great move, obviously, is the jump over. Anytime a fullback jumps over somebody, big pop from the internet. Big pop from the internet. Patrick, we appreciate you so much, man. Have a great offseason. Hope to talk to you again. Congrats on the Pro Bowls and all that shit. You're the man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem, man. Maybe we'll do it again.
yeah, maybe one day. You never know.
Maybe Patrick Ricard. Yeah! Thank you, man. 295 pounds just trying to dominate dudes. That's one of those guys like you accidentally run into in a bar.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what have I got myself into? I am so sorry about that. What a guy. Good conversation. Let's get some phones calls, shall we? Let's go to Dana in Texas. Dana, what's going on? What part of Texas are you in?
Dana Nas, Gator. Gator don't play no shit.
I agree, Gator, and I apologize. I just want to let. Okay, yep.
First off, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Gator, not too shabby.
I would like to apologize to you.
What's that for?
On that Thursday night, you kicked that onside kick. I was at that game.
What'd you say to me,
and
Gator?
I may have been hammered drunk.
Yeah. You know what you say to me? Did you say something?
I probably said fuck you. And
Gator.
You know, you're amazing, man. You know, you and the boys. You know, P's and T's, all the first responders out there fighting COVID.
Oh yeah, that's right. Prayers and thoughts.
But first off, I just want to talk about that shit show going on in Houston. It's finally now getting national.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been going on for years.
Really? Behind closed doors?
Oh yeah.
You're saying locally? You guys have been knowing about this shit for a long time.
Dude, it's been going on since the Kubiak era, brother.
Thank you, Gator. He couldn't have got better than that.
No.
Hey, maybe he could have, and if he can, next time do that. And I hope callers understand that. Like, hey, when you get big pop, like, okay, it's time. Now, granted, there might be some callers that gain a little bit more confidence, and maybe we think about, okay, let's let them go back to back. But for mostly, I'm like, yo, I don't know if you're going to be able to top what you just did. I retired after making a Pro Bowl because of the said situation there. I'm trying to help out there. I like Gator in Texas. How'd you get Dana out of that? Was there even a conversation? It feels like T and end sound nothing alike. You could see how the D and the G at the beginning, and then the A, but then there's a few extra letters, and T and N sound nothing alike. How did Dana happen there?
These phones are a.
Okay. All right, Mitt. Fucking hero, dude.
He's doing God's work.
I love Mitt. I honestly do.
He's the best.
I love him. Let's go to Doug in Cincinnati. Last question before the hour ends. We'll get to AJ Hawk on the other side. What's going on, Doug?
Dougie.
Oh, boy.
Doug, you okay?
Oh, my God. Search party for Doug. Well, got to read that now. I was going to go Doug, then add, but Doug might be done. Will somebody check on Doug?
Check on Doug, for Christ's sake.
What's that, Mitch Hedberg with the Watson family of four? Watson family of four.
Oh, yeah.
And then they never show up, and then they just go, Williams family of five.
Yeah.
He's like, well, what about the Watson family? Search party for four. If you ever get very vitamined up and want to have a good time with yourself, go ahead and just get on YouTube, Mitch Hedberg, and just run through it. You're about to hear 2,000 jokes every 20 to 25 minutes. And they are all, you're going to have a couple where you wait for a second. Oh, and then he's already going to be on to the next one. It is unbelievable. Rest in peace, by the way.
Rest in peace.
And also to this ad, because we ran out of time.
Yep.
What are you going to do?
Sorry. So, we still hope Doug is okay, though. Like, we still hope Doug is all right. And I'll tell you what, the company we're going to read for there, it's going to be worth it on the other side.
They'll get their money's worth.
Also, AJ Hawk will be joining. FaceTimed him last night. He did not answer.
Oh,
what?
man.
He didn't answer or text me back. I wanted to send him an Oculus because I would like to play against him in ping pong in the Oculus, and I'd like to see AJ in there on that boxing game because I think he will love it. Not a lot of your knees can handle. I love it because of the amount of cardio workout it is, and I could just kind of chill. Can't wait to talk to AJ about all the things happening in the world. Big shout out to Gator. I guess we will have to talk about the Houston situation because now there's more cryptic clues coming out through Deshaun Watson's tweets and statements to people about where he wants to get traded to. Houston is on fire, but this show has been burnt down long ago. Wednesday, January 20th, 2021, Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio will continue on the other side of this 6-minute break. We are moments before going out onto the field and kicking some field goals to raise a crap ton of money for the kids. And I'm about to become an old man. I said I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Oh, Cutsy. Oh my God. You
a little bit of that grandpa. Hey, you see, you go, and then, I just so excited we can raise her money, because that's what we're here for. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. It is hard to see down. Cool, Grandpa. There's no way I lived this long in real life.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our contestant and cheer him on as he attempts to raise $70,000 for cancer research. On your mark, get set, go!
I've been a fan of the Colts since the Mayflower came from Baltimore.
I don't know, sir. You sound a little familiar.
This is the greatest city on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, it was my honor to raise $70,000 for cancer research. Sorry, I missed a couple. I'm an old man. Let's go. Let's beat
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pat McAfee and $70,000 towards cancer research. Go Colts!
And the ball's leaning back. See, it's a lot more difficult seeing. Hi! Old man's got a hammer. Let's test out this Sharon! Sharon! Proper footy. Seems like it has a bigger sweet spot. That's the greatest sport on earth right there. Aussie rules football, also known as footy, AFL. My first time bombing in official shorts that are a little bit restricting. I think I lost a ball, to be honest. Might be a Lance Armstrong situation down here, but I can see why this sport is beloved, because those balls fly. Need to get down to Australia, meet up with the Magpie boys, and finish out this AFL season as maybe its biggest fan in America. That's all I think.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back here on this Wednesday, January 20th, hour 3 here on Sirius XM Channel 82. Mad Dog Sports Radio will begin immediately after this Twine beat drop. There it was. Here we go. Joining us now is a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, and a man whose thoughts I can't wait to hear about a couple, pretty massive conversation pieces we've had on today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ.
Hey, before you begin, I am not going to jump in on a conversation to question whether Phil Rivers.
Yes!
I'm just telling you, no, I can't. It's like arguing the GOAT thing. Why? Who votes on it? What's the criteria? Do they each have different criteria? I just need. There's a lot of questions I have.
Okay, so your answer is the same exact answer as mine, I believe.
What's yours?
Doesn't sound like it.
Which is at this point, I think the Hall of Fame is the NFL. Whoever votes, I think it's media people who vote on it. I'm not sure the entire process. As don't you, obviously, but I don't think anybody does. Do any of us know? Is everybody's vote worth one? Is there more that are worth? I don't know. That's a very interesting thing. But for me, I think it's just kind of like you represent what the NFL, like 17 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I feel like that is something that should be, celebrated, I think, in my eyes. But I guess there's a lot of people that are like, no, not my Hall of Fame. In my Hall of Fame, you need to win, okay? You need to win to get into my Hall of Fame. And if not, you don't deserve to even be talked about in the history of the sport, actually, now that we think about it. Just go on and get the hell out of here. There's people that really feel that way about Phil Rivers in specific. So I think it is an interesting conversation. Like, what is the standard? Is it a representative of the league? Is it like you're the great? It's very weird. It's a very weird thing.
Well, there's so many things. Like, do you say, is it Super Bowls like Eli? There's always a question about Eli. We know he got 2 rings, but when they weren't getting rings, how was he? Now with Phil Rivers, like, do you value like long-term, consistent success and being a very durable and a leader and all of the intangibles and all of that stuff? Like, do you value that more? Does that like trump Super Bowl rings for anybody? Like, that's the thing. There's so many questions. Like, I'm like, I don't even care to jump in.
Yeah. And by the way, I didn't think we were going to really jump in that deep, and then it was 54 straight minutes in the first round. It was because once you start thinking about all the different thoughts, because they're changing rules, okay? So yards are about to be different, points are about to be different. They're adding games. I mean, there's.
Don't you think like records don't matter? Like I know I think they put up like Drew Brees and Tom Brady's numbers and everything, and they're talking about they have this record and that record. Like we know when the quarterback position and how offenses have evolved. Like numbers, like the records are going to be broken. It's a different game. Like it's just how it's played is so different. I feel like those like the record things. Like when people worry about that, I don't ever see a reason in that.
And how are you going to compare people from 2 different eras? You can't. You're not going to be able to. It's going to be impossible because situations
are
situational. I mean, that is just.
What does that mean?
That means like situations.
They change.
Are situational. Like that's what they are, dude. It's pretty self-explanatory now I think about it.
Just open your ears.
It is what it is.
Hey,
kinda.
It is what it is, dude. It is. You're 100% right. Yeah, they are who we thought they were.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It ain't what it ain't.
Well, what did you think?
But it is what it is. What's that, bud? Sorry about that.
What did you think they were? I'm not sure what I thought they were.
I'm not sure.
Connor kept stepping on me anyway. I couldn't hear. And I couldn't me?
So you think he's going in? I think he's going into the Hall of Fame, by the way.
I think he's in. I think he'll go in.
I think so, too. All right, cool. So that's the only conversation that matters. Just want to let everybody that potentially is very against it. People are livid, AJ. I appreciate a lot more right now than I think I ever have about how much people, the high regard that people hold for that goddamn Hall of Fame. They're like, no, not in my Hall of Fame. And I appreciate that. I respect that a lot. But I think everybody that's ever played alongside or against Phil is like, as players in the NFL and guys that have been here, we think he should probably. I don't think you're hearing a lot of people that have played in the NFL go, nah, Phil doesn't deserve it. I think everybody is actually like, yeah, this guy was awesome in the whole thing. Good representative of the league, dadgummit.
That's right. Do you think he is going to go get a TV gig? Like, if he wants it, we know it's there. Like, do you think he chooses that?
He said he's going to put a ball cap on and put a whistle on and go coach down in Alabama. He already signed a contract down there. Remember? That already happened. And he said he said in numerous interviews, he said, I'm going to go down and I'm going to coach or whatever whenever I'm done. And then it started getting leaking that, network executives view Phillip Rivers as the next Tony Romo. What if they offered $10 million to Phillip Rivers to call games, which could happen, by the way. And all signs point to Phillip Rivers. He should be very good on television, very FCC friendly, hilarious in the way that he speaks without swearing, relatable, and he knows the game pretty well. All signs. Hey, if Phillip Rivers says, you know what, go ahead and keep that $10 million. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to coach football. I'm going to get back to the game. You know what I mean? Like that. I would be so impressed by that if he was able to do that. By the way, that would probably tell you everything that everybody's been saying about Phil. It's like Phil just loves football. Like he just loves the game.
Yeah, he does. But I could easily see him getting down there and all of a sudden whatever network comes at him, they give him, hey, we'll give you 3 years, $10 million a year, 30 overall for the 3 years. Why don't you just come try it out, see if you like it, make an extra $30 million. Then you can always go back and coach high school football. But people want to say, oh, he's made $300 million or whatever. Okay, yeah, he would love to have 30 more. Like, do you see just Warren Buffett just hanging out?
That whistle. Imagine what you can get, $30 million whistle you can get just the next 3 years. Just calling game. Hey, just go ahead and do a victory lap too, by the way. Everybody's going to like you. You'll be in the Hall of Fame conversation even more. Then you go coach down there in the highs. Then you give back. Then you go ahead. The last 5 kids you have, they'll be in high school. Go ahead and coach them. Go ahead and do that whole thing.
He could probably do both, couldn't he?
I don't think so. Because travel, right? High school games, I don't know, Friday or Saturday?
Oh, true. Yeah. Friday, yeah.
I would assume that, the travel there. But Herb Street, I guess. Herb Street was going to all his kids' games on Friday nights and then doing game day. But game day, I guess, and then he was calling games at night.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'd assume they'd be able to potentially figure that out. Maybe he is doing both. That'd be wild to retire and have more work.
Yeah.
A lot more work.
Like you did.
Yeah, but I didn't make $300 million. That guy did. I think he goes in. Hey, Deshaun Watson. AJ, I'm intrigued for your take on this. By the way, Taylor Lewan will be joining us alongside his right-hand man in about 16 minutes, which is the tattoo that he has literally on his right hand. It's a stick figure man, which may be one of the most clever answers I've ever heard during an interview that worked out perfectly. Cannot wait to chat with him. Deshaun Watson's been leaving cryptic clues about where he wants to go. Allegedly, he's in this video. I have not gotten a chance to listen to it. I don't know if anybody else has, but the quotes on the tweet of the video says Deshaun Watson alludes to something like jet green or something like that. And then he was allegedly in a New York taxi. And then now these conversations are all popping off about him playing his last game in Houston. And then you got Schefter or somebody reporting that the Jets are replacing, and Chris Mortensen's like, oh, whoa, let's not count out Miami. It feels like it's really like, hey, which team is going to go get Deshaun Watson right now? How do you feel about that, knowing that this is going to take like 3 first-rounders, 4 first-rounders, but is Cal McNair and, amen, Easterby, are they in Casario? Are they going to be able to just get him out of there as a franchise quarterback? It's a wild situation brewing down there in Houston. And Gator told us on a call earlier that this has been happening for a long time, brother, since Kubiak era. That's what he told us.
Well, we know like the longer the situation goes, it's not getting better. What could these guys do? What could Deshaun Watson in the front office do, I guess, to show like, hey, things are all right? Are they going to sit down 6 feet apart at a press conference and say, hey, we're good to go? I'd have my arm around him if I could, if this was pre-COVID, but you know what? We're good to go. We love each other. Is that like what? How can they come back from this?
I don't know. Texans fans will probably be I mean, would be pumped, I'd assume, if Deshaun Watson stays, but maybe they'll buy into the press conference that has to happen, and will have to happen about them doing it. But everybody outside, as soon as one thing goes wrong, they're going to be like, well, hey, remember, you just remember he was in a taxi cab, he was wearing jet green, he went out of there just, 1 year after signing a $150 million deal or whatever, and he has a jet green hat on, by the way. Yeah. And he's in a New York taxi. He had a hoodie on from some other team the other day, I think, or something like that. Yeah, this has been interesting to watch. I mean, this is drama. This is controversy. This is, are the Houston Texans fucked forever? I mean, that is, who's going to want to go there, AJ? Who's going to want to go down there?
But I'd be curious to see like what diehard Texans fans think about it. I would assume that Texans fans are like, we really want Deshaun here, but we completely understand why he wants out. It seems like there's too much going on. We want, like, they probably want, hey, go do what's best for you. You can go to another team. We'll be okay with it.
It's just like how the Lions fans feel about Stafford.
Yeah.
Bingo. Hey, Motor City Dan Campbell, what's that?
The internet Houston fans love Deshaun Watson. They hate Jack Easterby. They love Deshaun Watson. They had a march for him the other day.
For Deshaun?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love Deshaun too, by the way, for all the quarterbacks they had before Deshaun.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love. But do they know that Jack Easterby and the Lord?
Close guys. Close friends.
Do they know that? Hey, how do you feel about that? He was a chaplain at one point. He was a chaplain. And he goes,
I know.
That's what
I knew of him as a team chaplain / pastor, and then it's when I saw he was moving to the front office, I was like, man, that's a weird jump up in what you're doing. I don't know how that works, but going back to, you were mentioning something the other day about Jack Easterby and Cal McNair. Why did you said, oh, if he comes into my office, gets on his knees in front of me and starts praying? Like, have you ever been in a room when a male or a female walks into right in front of your room, right in front of you, gets on their knees and prays?
No, but I've never been in a room with a chaplain long enough.
No?
Yeah. I assume that's kind of how chaplains do it. If you want to prove that you should be the man of God for your organization, I think as soon as you get in there, you start proving it. Look at this shit. Look at this conversation I'm about to have right here. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's what happened, but it does feel as if those two, have a really good relationship. That is on a spiritual level. That is the story that is being cooked up from a lot of places. But I mean, I guess in the chaplain business, that has to be one of the biggest jumps in a long time.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Taking the chaplain all the way to the top.
Meteoric rise.
I think so, right? Because the chaplain normally takes visits up there, I'd assume, and then kind of goes, out there. But just to take the entire role and just hop that thing right up to the top desk, I mean, that's pretty fucking good.
Powerful snake oil.
That probably is what happened. He went in, genuflected, started praying in front of Cal McNair, and Cal McNair was like, my God, that's Jesus Christ's right-hand man.
Cal McNair's like, we need to win games down here in this fucking organization? Jesus Christ is right-hand man.
Yeah.
Jesus moves the needle in Texas.
Well, not in Houston. That's literally how this whole conversation just started. Jack Easterby's not like that. No. Not in Houston.
With wealthy human beings.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Anyways, I'm happy that was like, what, number 15 of the what run, by the way? That's where you pulled that one from?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I respect. So you were just pumped to see how my brain got to that in the middle of those what runs, that the office has, Stone Cold created it, but I'll tell you what, I do feel like this office has potentially gone full CPR on that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it hits every single time in the office.
Spread the word. And at least for Houston, they're getting the prince that was promised right back, Sam Darnold, to save their organization.
And 3 number ones probably.
How about that? They'll be fine.
Here you go.
Devontae Smith probably coming to town,
Do you
too.
even need Sam Darnold, though, if you have, the number 2 pick, right? Right, and what the Jets got?
Yeah.
Because they won their way out of number 1.
Yep.
They have the number 2 now.
Smart.
So do you want Sam Darnold, or do you just want the number 2 pick and more picks? That is an interesting thing. If you're Casario, do you like whoever's going to be Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones? Ooh. How about Trey Lance?
Look out.
What if Trey Lance shoots up the draft boards? What do you think, AJ? Would you, if you're making this deal, let's say this happens, which, by the way, this would be wild if this happened. I think, although all the media outlets are saying this is definitely going to happen, something is going to happen with him, this would be crazy. If you're the Texans and Chris Casario, what are you thinking there?
I mean, that's an interesting scenario that Daniel Jeremiah came up with. I guess if you have multiple first-round picks and you can make it happen, and you don't think you can make Sam Darnold your guy, yeah, maybe it's worth a shot.
Do you think Houston? You think they draft young quarterback, then they would have to what? Cut J.J. Watt. They'd save $17 million there. You get rid of what, $36 million or whatever, Deshaun Watson, and you're just trying to rebuild that entire thing with a completely different look. Like, hey, we need to freshen this place up. We need to take the pictures down. We need to repaint this place. Is that what they're thinking, you think?
Well, so Houston and Philly are the two head coaching jobs still available, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be a coach going in there when they're going to ship your franchise quarterback away and you're in a full-blown absolute rebuild. Like, there's no question about it. It looks like a rebuild. Like, that's a tough spot for a head coach to come into. I want like a 12-year contract if I go there.
Motor City Dan just got a 6-year contract. I don't know. Have you ever met Motor City Dan Campbell? Do you know him? It seems like you two would be akin.
I have never met him. I don't know. Do you know what year he retired? I may have played against him.
If you did, you would have known.
Yeah, you felt it.
I think you would have known. Oh,
hey, Pat, you know somebody who I was like starstruck playing against and also scared was Foxy will know him. Old Detroit Schlesinger.
Oh my God, an absolute legend.
Is that fullback?
You don't know him, Fox.
He's a fullback?
/ H-back a little bit. Yeah, he was just absolute bruiser, scary human being. That was a monster.
He was so awesome.
Hey, we talked to Patrick Ricard in the first hour, fullback. He was talking about how you guys just basically did it. He did an Oklahoma drill every single time he was on the field. He full speed, running into somebody. There's a collision somewhere. And he talked about the linebackers all being one size. He's 6'3", 295 pounds. If you're a linebacker that has to run into that, what do you have to do? You just have to okay, today I just got to hope not to get a concussion. Let's just go ahead and get in there. Like, what is the thought? Because you have to square those up too, right? Because of your fit. Like, you have to take that hit every time.
Absolutely. You got to square them up as much as you can and try to force it, whether you're trying to force it outside or force it inside, depending on where your help is. But yeah, like San Francisco did that every once in a while. They'd put a monster, 300-pound D lineman in that could move. And every time, oh, you got to be kidding me. A stalemate is a win for a guy that's 230 pounds going against a D lineman that's coming downhill at you. But yeah, it's not fun. I think more teams should do that. When you have a guy like that can move and he's an absolute giant, it can wear on you, I think.
So you have to have that. You told us whenever Oklahoma drills happened, whenever you were younger, you didn't want to do them, he said.
Nope.
But if the only way to survive here is by killing everybody, I'm going to have to kill everybody then. Is that what you said?
I mean, that's I was usually mad at the coaches for doing it. So you would take your anger out on the coaches on the other players.
Your teammates. But anyways, but you have to, that's the drill. The drill calls for it. Whenever you see, and it's a goal line situation, by the way, which means they've probably had a pretty good drive here to get to this situation. And you're standing there probably gassed, listening for the goddamn call. There's probably only a couple goal line or whatever. And then you see a D lineman trotting out there. Are you just like, motherfucker? All right, we got to kill everybody here. Like, is that the mindset you have to have? Like, how do you just flip the switch there?
Well, yeah, the mindset there would be either a lot of times if you're on the goal line, they're coming in, you try to get a little bit deeper so you can have a big running head start. Yeah, you either do that, but if it's a D lineman, I may not want that much space. I may get right up in the line and try to take him before he gets a full head of steam.
Oh, a lot of strategy going on in there. I'm happy I didn't have to do any of that. I was just running with my eyes closed, running into him. What do you got there?
Dan Campbell retired in 2009.
That was after 2009?
In 2009, he retired. AJ asked him when he retired to see if he played against him.
Yeah, so that was my rookie year. Where did he retire from?
So he was with the Lions, and then he retired with the Saints.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
I believe he was on the 0-16 Lions team. Someone said, I thought.
What are you trying to bury Motor City Dan for?
Come on.
He was.
He might have been on a Super Bowl champion Saints team, too.
But that means he knows grit.
He does know grit. And he knows he's been at the outhouse.
Yes.
And he's been at the penthouse.
Bingo.
Dan Campbell. Motor City Dan Campbell.
He truly knows what it's like to be a Lion.
He does. Yeah, absolutely. Well, not really, because he's been
to the penthouse.
To the penthouse.
But he's also been to that house.
Yeah, he has been there. Yeah, you're right. What's that, Nick?
I just had a quick question for AJ. I was wondering, AJ, how many sleepless nights did you have knowing you had to go up against Jim Kleinsaucer?
Oh.
He's another one of those guys that you're starstruck playing against him. He was like a throwback, just Viking of a human, and he played for him too. But yeah, Kleinsaucer, another just an amazing, a perfect name for that guy, for what he does.
Okay, so you claim with a very straight face, and I think genuine, you feel as if you're being complete. You've said you've never had a concussion in your life. Think about the football he was playing up there in the NFC North against the names Kleinheisen? What was the guy's name?
Jimmy Klein Saucer.
Klein Saucer. And then what was the guy from Detroit?
Schlosinger.
I mean, you must have the greatest cranium of all time.
Yeah.
We should be studying your cranium whenever you pass, I think.
No, you try to throw a shoulder in there first. You don't want to go head to head as little as you can with those guys because their head is much harder than mine.
You go against Dan Cryer?
I think so, yeah.
Super Bowl.
He doesn't even know. I mean,
doesn't remember.
Numbers. I know numbers.
What's the number?
35.
35.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
All right, let's get to a break, all right? We got Taylor Lewan on the other side. Excited to chat with him. How far along is he in the rehab process, you think, right now? He's probably crutches?
He's
past that. 2 months? Is he 2 months out?
Is he past that?
Yeah, I saw a video of him walking.
Let's go. All right, we'll talk to Taylor Lewan of the Tennessee Titans. Man who got injured, but still massive staple in that franchise. Can't wait to chat with him on the other side. This is SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, January 20th, 2021.
I was told by Del Curry, Scottie Pippen struggles on a golf course, right?
Right.
I was told at that thing that I'm going against Scottie Pippen the next day, match play, heads up, one-on-one Scottie Pippen. So we decide, like, okay, we could probably have a couple drinks, stay at the casino a little bit longer than we should.
Representing the NFL out of the Shoeless Golf Club of America, Pat McAfee. His opponent, representing the NBA, Scottie Pippen.
You know what I mean? This guy's got 6 rings. Yeah. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. But today he's going to play against me. And then I start seeing Scottie hit some shots that are just like starting to come together. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. I think I was lied to.
We were lied to yesterday. We were told Scottie Pippen was a terrible golfer. Bro, he's Scottie fucking Pippen.
Going in the back 9, I think I was down 1. Like we were battling. But I started making putts. And Scottie Pippen went ahead and got real hot. I mean, real fucking hot. I was down 3 with 7 left. And I looked right in the camera, and I go,
"We're down 3 with like 7 holes left. Scottie Pippen's about to get this work."
Scottie Pippen from 190 yards out just fucking dunks it. Fucking boom, bang, and then walks up to the green, gets the ball, cameras on him, and he goes, "Pippen ain't easy."
Kidding me? All right, down 4 with 6 left after Scottie Pippen just chips him from fucking 400 yards out.
I was fucking demoralized.
Pippen ain't easy.
By the way, best he's ever performed at golf, because I'm around, better teammate than Jordan.
Yep.
People forget. Oh, yeah, I told Del, I was like, Del, what the fuck you lying to me? He was like, well, I saw it yesterday. He was not great. And Greg Anthony told me, and I was like, Del, he buried me, Del Curry. He buried me. He was like, hey, Pippen ain't easy.
Yes, baby, it's time to celebrate.
Talking about a shotgun of beer after he had beat me. Obviously, I like teach him how to do it.
Yeah, put a hole in there. It might spread a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to go here, and then you're going to open and flip up. Does that make sense? Congrats on winning the NBA a couple times, blah, 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 blah. And being an incredible golfer. Right, well, cheers. Appreciate it. Hey. 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 Hey.
Damn.
Okay,
That's the
Scotty.
best Bud Light I ever had.
Hey, there's no Caucasian here.
You right.
dance with me.
Take this one in your face, mother. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio. That was lovely.
It was, wasn't it? Welcome back to the show. AJ, how you doing, man? Pretty good?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
AJ Hawks here, joining us on SiriusXM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Had some breaking news during the break. AJ Hawk and Motor City Dan Campbell did face off one time, thanks to the tweet from old buddy. Let me get his actual name here. Nick Schultz. AJ Hawk played Dan Campbell in 2006. Campbell had 3 catches, but AJ Hawk had 8 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss.
Oh, yeah.
Call that hot. Motor City Dan Campbell had no idea what he had on his hands when AJ Hawk stepped on that goddamn football field. Joining us now is a Pro Bowl. You remember that game?
That was my rookie year. I don't know. Was it? He was in Detroit.
Whoa. I didn't even understand football yet. He said I didn't even know what football was in the NFL, and just made it happen. Hey, way to go, AJ!
Yeah, the day we knew we had a guy.
That's when the Packers fans knew they had a guy.
Yep.
Joining us now is a guy for the Tennessee Titans, a man who hosts Bussin' with the Boys podcast, which is great alongside Will Compton. It's great entertainment, to be honest with you. A hilarious individual who happens to play tackle in the NFL for the Tennessee Titans, ladies and gentlemen, alongside his right-hand man, Taylor Lewan.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you for having me. AJ, next time I'm introduced, if you don't clap, we're going to have some problems. But it's all right. What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Hey, Taylor, how are you doing? Now, I tried to guess what stage of rehab you were in. I forgot how long ago you were on the show. I tried to do the math. You're walking now? How are you feeling? Are you getting a metal scrape up and down your scar tissue yet? What's going on? What stage are you at?
That has happened several times. I am 12 weeks out yesterday. And so I'm walking. We're getting the quads firing. I never had big legs to begin with, so not a lot of atrophy there. But it's going well. It's going good. I think at week 16, week 17, around that 4-month mark, I will be cleared for all football activities, beating Ndamukong Suh when he tore his ACL in Nebraska. Not keeping score, but that's the pace I've heard I have to beat.
Jeez. So what's been the hardest part, I guess? So you're 3 months out. Does this part suck worse than the beginning? Like, what's the toughest thing?
The hardest thing for me was, like, when I got hurt, like, it was almost a calming feeling for whatever reason. Like I sat there and I was like, it was always a huge fear of mine. Like, I'm an athletic tackle. I can run. I don't bathe regularly. It was always a thing. Like, I can move around. And I was always so afraid to get my knee getting hurt that once it happened, it was like calming. Like, oh, this is the worst thing that can happen to me. I'm going to be totally fine. So the only time it was difficult was during the season on Sundays, watching the boys go out there and play. Like, that was always hard. I was definitely in a little bit of a slump during all that, but it's been like since the season's ended, obviously we got Busted with the Boys podcast. I get to come and talk to you gentlemen. Like, there are things that keep my schedule going to where I can still have a creative outlet other than football. So it's been a cool experience, and I think it's going to be a positive one and overall in my life. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity for next year.
Guys, whenever they get hurt or have season-ending injuries, they're still in the training room in most years. In the morning or whatever, they're checking in. They kind of get a chance to at least be in the building with some of the people. I'd assume this year you were not in the building at all, huh? Because of the COVID clearance and everything like that?
Yeah, I left immediately. I was not going to wake up at 6 a.m. and get COVID tested every day.
But Dak
Prescott can have it, baby. I'm so proud of him. Him saying on the news he's going to go in there, go to the meetings. What a guy. What a team guy. And I love that. I didn't do any of that. I actually bailed immediately and went to Florida. Dr. Andrews did my surgery. I spent a week down there. And then I came here. I have an incredible team of people. Luke Richardson is a guy who helped start Exos, which was Athletes Performance in the beginning. He's now at Lipscomb Academy, which I know you guys.
Oh, Trent Dilfer. Let's go Mustangs. Let's go Mustangs.
He's the strength coach for them. So this woman named Anna Hartman, who is also, she's an incredible PT lady, comes from San Diego. So she flies in just to work with me. I got the best team you could ask for. I literally have I got the Pilates reformer right there. I hit that at least an hour a day, every single day.
Canadian
And then I go
flag.
do my workout. I go do my rehab. So at this point, it's really like quad strengthening and workouts. So I might have the best ACL repair anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, well,
it might go down in history.
That's what I was going to ask about, because you had Ndamukong Suh's recovery time from his college days at Nebraska in your mind. Was there a goal that was laid out by somebody, I assume, in your life, or was this your goal? Like, hey, okay, what did Ndamukong Suh do whenever he was at Nebraska? I don't even know how you remembered that had happened and how did you get to that goal? And I assume those little things are kind of what keep you going, obviously, through this whole thing.
Well, everything in my life always stems back to Will Compton. And so Will Compton played at Nebraska. When Will got to Nebraska, there was a guy named James Dobson. He was head strength coach there. Unbelievable guy, good raspy voice, chiseled cat, really a guy you look at and say, yeah, I want him to work me out. And I've been to Vanderbilt a few times, done a couple of workouts with him, absolutely dominated him in a few things. But he and I have developed quite the rapport. And so he calls me 4 or 5 days before. I answer the phone. He doesn't say sorry. He doesn't say, oh, I hope you're feeling okay. He goes, well, when I first got to Nebraska, and Ndamukong Suh had a partially torn ACL, and we played wall ball. And he tore it fully, and I thought I was going to get fired on the second day of my job. But he came back in 4 months and played the season. So he's like, so that's what you have to be. And that was the end of the conversation. He hung up the phone, didn't even say goodbye, and that was it. And so from this day, it's been my head has been, okay, 4 months, I got to get cleared for all football activities. Now, I'm going to get cleared at 4 months because I've recovered that well. But I think the worst thing guys can do is like, okay, now I can go do everything. I'm still going to go through every process. I got 8 more years, good ones before I start doing the downward slope.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got a big thing coming up. I like that you're standing. What we got next? What's going on? You all right?
You see that? Come on, pal.
That's beast. You had that. That's that punt team kick step, dude.
Yeah,
that's a punt team.
Got to get some depth. You know what I mean? We're in a deep shotgun. We are in a deep shotgun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I love it. It's standard. Shoulders are square, legs going back. You look phenomenal. You look great.
You should see. I hold the shit out of them too, but I never get called, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think I've held more than anybody, and I mostly get called, so it does matter.
I do remember that it was happening, but then you beat it. By the way, you beat it. Yep. Way to go.
Mm-hmm. Hey Taylor, what do you think? What about the 4 teams remaining the playoffs? Like, do you watch now? I know the Titans are out. It was tough to watch your boys. What do you think? Like, who do you think is going to take it?
Okay, so I wanted the Bills to donkey the Ravens because of and then once that happened, now I'm thinking, I think the Chiefs. I can't see the Chiefs not beating the Bills. It's because they're so good right now. I think it really depends on Patrick Mahomes plays, right? And how is he from a mental clarity standpoint? Because watching the game against the Browns, it looked like his head didn't hit very much, but he looked like when you know how like the punk kids in high school would grab the goose by the beak and they do that and they kill him. Like that's what it looked like. That's what looked like it happened to his neck.
What? Excuse me.
So I'm thinking.
Nah. Like there's a lot of things we have to talk about. Okay, there is a lot of. I have no idea about any of these punk kids grabbing gooses by the beak and breaking their necks. That's unbelievable. This was something that happened.
You've never heard of this before?
No, bud.
There's some guy probably watching the show that's probably committed arson before that knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you grab a goose, and I've never done this, PETA, I know you're watching, I have never done this.
Yeah, and I would also like to say the opinions in whatever Taylor Lewan says right now do not reflect that of the opinions of the other 2 men that are currently on the screen.
Right. Well, I'd love it if you put me in that, but insurance policies have been laid. If you grab a goose by the neck, by the head, and you give it a whip, it dies. It snaps its neck. Its neck's so long.
All right, how do we? Okay, so all right, let's move on. It did look very scary.
So Patrick Mahomes looked like the goose that I was trying to explain. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what happens with spines. I'm not a doctor, right? I was a general studies major at Michigan. I think if Pat plays, I assume the Chiefs win. Now, Tom Brady is a Michigan legend, all right? Mm-hmm. There's Tom Brady, me, and then there's everybody else. But, like, Tom Brady's number 1.
Of course.
So Tom is the Bucks. And then, Aaron Rodgers had the best season out of everybody besides Derrick Henry. So you think Aaron Rodgers would win this game, but I'm hoping Tom Brady and the Buccaneers win this game.
Okay.
Just from a Michigan guy to Michigan guy. So I finally got there. I apologize.
No, I like that you gave a very detailed breakdown of all of it, by the way. Not a lot of people do that. It seems like you have it well thought out. And by the way, that's why Bussin' with the Boys is such a good podcast, because you're a deep thinking man, especially in your time. Can we talk about the concussion protocol? Have you ever been in it?
Several times. I don't think I've ever had a concussion, but they've said I had a thing in Miami, Andre Branch. I'm still going to get you back someday. Blindsided me, and I don't think he's in the league anymore, but I'll get him at like a charity event or something.
AJ tackles dudes out of golf courses. You could probably do something.
Yeah, no, I think if I ever saw him at like some sort of charity event, I'd definitely, like in the chin, and then he'd be asleep and I'd tweet worth it as the cops were taking me away. But
Jesus,
that's
a little bit harsh. Don't you think that's a little bit harsh? Should we not move on? You don't think?
I don't know. I'm petty, dude. I get petty so easily.
Yeah, you just knocked the guy out at a charity event.
Yeah, but I feel like whatever my bail was, I'd match that for the charity event. Then everything would be okay. You'd be square. So we'd work out something in that way. Like you'd match. What's your bail? 10,000. Okay, we'll do 10,000 for charity also, and everything's okay.
What a hero.
But I think I got knocked out against Miami. He did that. That's the reason why I was saying I was joking. I was joking about that. But
thank you.
You go through the protocol. Basically, you know how it is. You have your baseline test, and then once you get knocked out or anything happens from a concussion standpoint, you have to meet those baseline guidelines. And a neutral site doctor.
Yeah,
like
what
a doctor
is that?
That's not affiliated with the team at all has to clear you.
Is he from Nashville, though? Was he in Nashville, that doctor? Who was it? And did you sense any, fanhood in that person?
The guy knew that he was like, yeah, as I'm walking out the door, the guy goes, hey, I love the way you play. So obviously he knew I wasn't going to it as he cleared me for the game. But I'm saying, I had a week. I got hurt, and Mike Vrabel, he's an amazing dude. He's for the boys 100%. Texted me on Tuesday. He goes, don't even plan on playing this game, even if you get cleared. You're taking care. He took care of the boys, which you don't get a lot, especially with head coaches. I just don't think you get that. And Mike helped me out quite a bit doing that. And you got to reach the baseline. Once you reach the baseline, you have to have no symptoms. Everything's got to be zeros, the 1 to 10. How's your head feel today? Do you feel stuffy? Did you have trouble sleeping? What about the light? How's the light feel in your eyes? It all has to be zeros. Hawk, you know what I'm talking about. Pat, I don't know if you've ever been hit, but Hawk, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I have been. And I've also knocked some motherfuckers out, yeah. 25 tackles, by the way, in my career. I learned the other day.
Yeah.
25.
It's incredible. That's 7 more than Will Compton had this year. So that's unbelievable. He's a linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah, but Will forced fumble. Forced fumble.
Yeah, he did. Damn right.
Yeah, you got
highlights.
You're damn right he was. He's a hero.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Pat will play. I think you'd have to the guy's going to do whatever he can to play, right? Going back-to-back AFC championships. I think it's the first time since Philly did it when Andy Reid was head coach of them as well. So it's pretty unbelievable stuff that they're headed towards, and I can't see a way that Pat doesn't play. I hope for his safety he does whatever's best for him. I think if Pat plays, game's over. No offense to Bills Mafia. I've tangled with them one too many times. They're the most unbelievable fan base.
They're coming.
And I would absolutely hate to catch any heat from that. But Pat's on top of his game right now. And it's hard to bet against him. And I'm taking Tom Brady and the Bucs, even though I don't know if that's a winning bet.
Hey, so going back to this Andre Branch situation, you say you got blindsided. You were blindsided. Were you out cold on the field but not concussed? I mean, that's an impressive move.
Buddy, I took a nap, dude. I was out there. I got up, and I'm looking around, and all my teammates are fighting. They're all kind of getting it, which, you look back on, you're like, hey, I appreciate the boys. And I'm like, who we fighting? What's going on? And, Evil Will's right there and was like, hey, you got knocked out. Everything's fine. like I said, everything goes back to Will Compton. Was like, hey, you got knocked out. You're going to be fine. And I'm like, and I just start just bawling and crying. And Ben Jones, our center, comes and takes a towel and puts it over my head. And kind of just directs me to the locker room, and that was the end of that. But Andre,
why'd you cry? Why'd you cry?
Yeah, Pat, I don't know what the brain, how it works. If you hit a certain way, the part that has your feelings, you wake up and tears come out. I went home and I started crying to my wife. I'm like, she's like, how do you feel? I was like, well, I feel good, and I just think that, and I just started crying again. But I'm, concussion or not, I do like to tear up. I put a good movie on, Warrior, Titanic, any of those types of things. I'm out. The tears start flowing. So, but Andre Branch starts walking back to his bench, and they have him, yelling body bag and all this different stuff, which I love it. I think it's unbelievable because I'm into petty. I can't not double down on petty. So, good for him. He got me.
Let's talk about a little petty and awesome from an outsider's perspective, obviously not an insider's perspective. But I thought, first of all, you guys going on Ravens Shield, Harbaugh, Vrabel having that situation, becoming an entire thing. I love that type of stuff. Okay, I absolutely love it. I assume there's a lot of people that are like, oh, that's not in football. I love it. And then Marcus Peters, by the way, remembering immediately upon and not forgetting. I think that is something that I was so impressed with on the outside. It's like, oh, here's a little payback. And I heard you and Will talk about it in a clip from Bussin' with the Boys about Will saying, I'll just put all the Jordan cry faces on there as soon as they lose or whatever. And by the way, he did immediately upon it happening, and it did very well or whatever. But what were your thoughts while watching that whole thing? I enjoy it. I don't know how you guys were handling it internally or via group text messages or anything like that.
Yeah, so basically what happens for the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, the Tennessee Titans, when we go on an away game or even go on a home game, we go to the middle of the field, we break it down, right? It's us against them type of mentality, the whole rah-rah thing, right? Insert Denzel Washington, remember the Titans bullshit speech, that whole thing. That's our shit. So we've done it. We did it against the Patriots. We played them a divisional game. We did, the wild card game, and the Ravens game. Last year we did it. So sure enough, we do it this year. I wasn't there. I was at home eating popcorn, watching the boys donkey. And I loved it. I'm like you, Pat. I'm all about the petty. I think it's unbelievable. And I said it on a podcast by myself because COVID rules and Will couldn't be with me. It was during the season. There was going to be a time because Harbaugh got so butthurt about the situation, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you have some respect? And Vrabel just big dicking him the whole time, not even looking at him, saying, go coach, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Whisks him away, treats him like a dirty schoolgirl. And we win the game, and they're super upset about it. And I said a week later on Bustin' with the Boys, I said, there's going to be a time when the Ravens get us again, and it's going to be all right. It's just going to happen, and we're going to live our lives the way we do, and then eventually we'll be able to be petty again someday. So I turn on the Ravens-Bills game, and once you know it, the heart starts just beating. Because I know that Napalm's about to go off on Twitter. And I know that WW3 is about to take over, Pat. Okay?
Yep.
So I sit there, and I just halfway through the game put, cannot wait for Will's tweet at the end of this game. And I just lay it down, knowing that there's a massacre going on my timeline. Just an absolute massacre. And then Will posts, can't wait to, out of respect for the Ravens, I'll wait till the clock hits zeros. So you know, it's just, there's fuming at the mouth for all Baltimore Ravens fans. Sure enough, Will puts the crying emojis, crying Jordan emojis on these guys, and napalm, absolute napalm went off all over Ravens fans. Then the Bills Mafia got involved, and you know how they roll deep. I've already said it once. I'll double down. They roll deep.
Hey, they're petty too. Hey, they are petty.
As petty as they come, and you love it.
Love it.
And Titans fans are ganging up with the Bills fans. It's like it's a civil war. It's unbelievable. And so the Ravens, I mean, they're mad. Here's the deal: we're gonna play them again someday. And it's going to get petty again. And I loved that they didn't even shake our hands after the game. I wasn't there. But when they beat us, they didn't shake it. They're like, no, we're out of here. We're not shaking hands. I love it. And I think they're all great guys. I love Lamar Jackson. I think Marcus Peters is an unbelievable corner. Yannick Ngakoue played for the Jaguars for a long time. I played against him a lot. Calais Campbell's there. They have so many studs. Judon, so many studs there. And I love them. And I think they're all awesome guys. I love to have them all on the podcast. But I love the pettiness. I hope it continues, for not only for the team's sake, like getting juiced up before the games, but for the fans' sake, going to the game thinking that we care actually way more than we actually do care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does showcase that there is, loyalty and real passion for the teams, which is what I appreciate, which is a quick way to debate somebody that is old school that doesn't like it, just saying, oh, so you don't want your players to care at all about the team that they're playing for? No, I didn't say that. They just have to do it in a classy way. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's a little bit, can't really have it both ways in that entire fashion. It's I like it. I think it's good. You can't have them on the show, though. Bustin' with the Boys, obviously those episodes with the Ravens would be massive, but I think that kind of kills kayfabe, doesn't it? I mean, it kind of kills the pettiness, don't you think?
Yeah, but I'm all about clicks, Pat. So don't I'm gonna get them damn clicks when I need to get them. You know what I'm saying? We're all selling out here, dude. I'll be anything you need for $1. You know what I'm saying? Anything you want from me. What's that sign? Yeah, exactly. What's that thing from Beer Fest? $1 to look at it, $2 to touch it, $3 to watch me touch it. Like that's my motto I'm living by at this point.
Hey, shout out to you, dude. What do you got, Connor?
Taylor, you mentioned being a Michigan man. Obviously, Brady, you, Charles Woodson may be on that list. Why the fuck did the Michigan Wolverines extend Jim Harbaugh?
I'm never going to be allowed back there again. I don't know. It's I just don't know what to say. I give him another year, extend the boy, and if they develop guys, I've said this on Bustin' with the Boys podcast. It's crazy how to double down, but Michigan State gets 2- and 3-star guys, and they develop these cats, and the guys like Jack Conklin who walk on become top 10 picks. They do a great job of developing guys. Michigan gets 4- and 5-star guys, and I don't know if it's because they think they're great, because I came in with a bunch of 5-star guys, and they thought they were the top shit, right? I don't know if it's a developmental issue. They have the best facilities. It's unbelievable. They have the history, they have the richness, the tradition, 115 fans, biggest, the town lives for the football team. I don't know how you're not like a top 10 school every single year. And so, I drank the Kool-Aid when I was there. I hated Ohio State. I hated Notre Dame. I hated Michigan State. Now it's like, do what you want. I could care less. I kind of just moved on from that situation. I know people hate it. People are so mad at me right now for saying that, but I kind of just move on from stuff, right? And then that's why this whole Ravens thing, I'm like, it's gonna end, and then I'll be fine, and then life will just be the way it is.
Yeah. By the way, chapters, bub. Hey, fun chapter. Every once in a while, take a peek back in the book. Oh, that was fun. That was awesome. Let's go ahead and change that. Let's keep it moving or whatever. The interesting thing, though, about Harbaugh up there getting extended, it seems like nobody thought that was coming, and then he takes a pay cut, and then the whole thing. And I've been to Ann Arbor. I've talked about this before. That place is gorgeous, dude. Yeah. It is absolutely beautiful up there. What do you got?
Taylor, did you watch the A.J. Brown video last night?
Good question.
No, I talk to AJ regularly. But I was texting with him and Will. Everything comes back to Will. How he said he was out for the season or something like that.
Yeah, he said he
should have been out. Should have been out. He got 2 surgeries on both his knees. Week 2 went on to make the Pro Bowl or whatever. How you doing? Keep him moving.
Yeah, I love it. Vrabel has a very strong stance on media. When you're talking to the media, you don't talk about other guys' injuries ever. But I'd say that was a big fat lie what he was saying. I don't know, man. I only played 5 games. And I think I only played 2 of them with him. So, hey, he's a warrior. The guy chews glass. He wakes up every day and thinks about what can he do for the team. Most selfless guy I've ever dealt with in my entire life. Of course, dude. There was a point, I think he had gangrene, and they had to amputate. They said, hey, we're going to have to take the knee. We're going to have to take from the knee down. We're going to have to take it. And AJ looked at him. He spit on the doctor. I remember this. He spit on the doctor's face and he said, I'm playing for my team. God damn it. And he did it.
He did.
Shout out to AJ Brown.
AJ. You want guys like that on your team. Hey, Taylor, you want guys like that on your team. Need guys like that.
I tore my ACL, and AJ walked up to me while I was on the field. He goes, is it your knee? I go, yeah. And he spit on. He goes, pathetic. And walks away. That's how tough AJ Brown is.
Hey, by the way, somebody clipped you getting knocked out or whatever. It is very far away from the play.
How funny is it, dude? So back to that real quick. Because I feel like every time you guys have me on the show, we're on here for 30 minutes. So you're welcome. But
thank you. By the way, this is a rather shitty Wednesday.
I'm asleep. Yeah, dude, I'm definitely taking a nap in that picture. So that was the longest game in NFL history. There's a bunch of storms going on. So every 25 minutes, they shut down the game.
Oh, I remember that.
We were coming out. It was just after half or just before. No, it was just after half I got knocked out. And we went in for another rain delay or whatever. And I kind of walked outside the locker room into the open area. And there's a bunch of fans. And they're just giving it to me, dude. And I look up at them, and I start kind of saying something back to them, and then I just start bawling, crying again, just started losing it, crying. And Delaney Walker puts his arm around me, is kind of like he's really embarrassed for me, and kind of just takes me away. That was a bit of a situation.
Well,
a lot of, like I said, a lot of crying, it's like I watched The Notebook on repeat.
And also Warrior and Titanic.
It's both great movies as well.
Will Compton was the one that tweeted that picture out, by the way. He just wanted to make sure everybody knew. Just, he was kind of helping the stories, just so everybody knew exactly what. Taylor, I appreciate you joining us, man. You're awesome. You stirred some shit today, though.
You guys having me on.
Hey, you stirred some shit today. I think there's going to be some conversations about what you said on here today.
But let's just do this real quick, right? Like, I said some things, words came out of my mouth, but what does it mean? Nothing, right? Like, everything I said, it doesn't mean anything, right? The Ravens beat us, Harbaugh got extended, and I got knocked out. Like, that's, now it's over. Watch Bustin' with the Boys. And if AJ doesn't clap for me next time, I'm going to hang up and I'll never come on the show again.
No. Don't do that.
No, I'll come on for sure. I tell you what, I need the clicks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Lewan. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Electric.
Yeah.
Every time.
He's awesome.
The independent doctor telling him he's a fan. As soon as he said it, I was like, oh, no.
Like the way you play.
Oh, no.
Mahomes is playing.
Oh, my God.
If he's a fan.
How about his run about AJ?
Gang green.
He's an idiot, dude. Bustin' with the Boys is very entertaining. I looked at his Instagram, to get it kind of refreshed. And one of his recent posts is him on the bus with his hat on, and he says, "My opinion matters because I say it does." And then, okay. H-A-K, what a legend of a man. He's a good player, too. Pro Bowler, multi-time Pro Bowler. That Titans team, very interesting. Do you see it going the same way No, obviously, we got Aaron. We're on Aaron's side there. But the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, the way he laid it out there, you think that team's going to be impossible to beat?
I mean, not impossible, but yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes plays and he's 75% or better. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to win.
Chad Henne, too, can come in if he has to.
Exactly.
And Ryan Fitzmagic that thing, kind of close it out if he needs it, just like last time.
Yeah. He'll spin.
What about the Goose? What did the fucking Goose do?
I've never heard of that.
Scumbag kids, man. Scumbag kids.
Arson.
He said it was the punk rockers or whatever.
Kids.
Oh no. I gotta read an ad here. Oh. It's one or the other, huh?
Yeah.
Which one?
Speed read it.
Think about it. Make the right decision.
Could have read them both by now.
True. We should probably restart that entire process. All right, let's get back in there. As we wrap up here on this Wednesday, January 20th, 2021, I just kind of want to let you know that Raycon is disrupting the electronics industry by designing premium wireless audio for half the price without compromise. They're doing things differently than the other brands out there, from the way they design their products to the way they price them. Raycon prioritizes their customer experience from start to finish.
Love that.
Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of fun colors and patterns with a variety of fit options and no dangling wires or stupid stems. You love these things, don't you, AJ?
Yeah, I actually wear them every day.
AJ's not the only one. J.R. Smith, Brandy, Mike Tyson, Rich the Kid, Snoop Dogg, and Melissa Etheridge all say their Raycon wireless earbuds are their favorite ones they've ever had in their ears.
Wow. Star power.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Raycon earbuds give you 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design for a comfortable noise-isolating fit. Right now, you can go to buyraycon.com/sports talk. That's BUYRAYCON.com/sports talk. No space for 15% off your order. Brought to you by Raycon. Shout out to Raycon. We got about a minute left here, AJ. Anything to say to the SiriusXM listeners about anything that's on your mind, AJ Hawk?
No, I think I'm good. But I think Phil Rivers will be a Hall of Famer as well.
As do I. Nick, amongst
Should
others.
or will? Different questions.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Does matter.
Doesn't matter.
Does matter.
Doesn't matter.
Does matter.
Is a gold jacket a gold fucking jacket, Nick?
It's kind of yellowish.
You're right. It is. Just like that shirt's orange.
Orange ass shirt.
Anyways, January 20th, rather large day in the real world. Hope we gave you 3 hours of entertainment, maybe a little mental vacation to talk about the less serious side of life, which is sports. And by the way, we are in championship week. Tomorrow and Friday, big time guests, big conversation. AJ Hawk will give us his official bet predictions of the weekend. Even though I kind of already gave them away today. Maybe he'll have a change of heart over the next couple of days. Is Patrick Mahomes definitely going to play? Is he not going to play? Are we going to have good conversations or are we not? Come back tomorrow. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed is next. Yeah, fucking go in. Let's go. Feel good about it. Feel pretty good about it, you know? Feel pretty good about it. It's like, you know, when you got to be a host right there and you do it, and it's like, all right, perfect. Fucking how you doing? Keep it moving. Chris Mad Dog Russo is next. In 6 minutes, there's a commercial on right now. Woo!
Does the guy get in your ear anymore? Usually you're talking to him, but you haven't done that in a while.
No, we've moved it all in-house. So we've moved the send to break to in-house. There's a button here. And the thing about it is, every once in a while, it will not send to a break. And that is just technology being technology. So now it's Mansuri in the back reminding of time. There's a clock up here. There's that entire thing. So everything, we have moved to a completely in-house operation. We've quarantined the operation.
Yeah, that's right.
Quarantine operation.
Quarantine.
I took a trip to a part of society that I've never been to yesterday, AJ.
Where is this?
Bro, you're going to love this. I was in is that a city council meeting? Okay. I had no idea. I do not interact with humans that participate in city council meetings, by the way.
Were you in person or like Zoom call?
Zoom call, but there was the ability for, remonstrate, I forget the name. People that didn't want the variance or the ordinance to pass, they gathered in town hall, I'd assume, or city hall or whatever, and there was a camera on the podium that they had there. And then I was on a Zoom call alongside the rest of the board. The president, Madam President was on there.
Wow.
The department, the secretary, the treasurer there, everything was there. The board was there. We're potentially buying an office, but to do that, there's been like a zoning ordinance that has had to happen because the property that we chose to buy that just popped up for sale that I did not know was going to be for sale. And when I saw the price, I was like, we should buy that. And that's where we should make our office at. But then it became this entire thing where I live in a city that's within Indianapolis' city limits. So to rezone a place, both Indianapolis and the place have say in this particular thing because it's a city ordinance or whatever. So I'm in the city council of Lawrence, but Lawrence is inside of Indianapolis. Okay, so there's two city councils basically happening. And whenever I was first going to do this, I started hearing from the downtown Indianapolis people and all this. There's just a lot that goes into this. So I had to write a letter, okay, to every neighbor that was within a certain distance of the building. I wrote it myself, explaining what my business was, what we do, and why we're looking to change the zoning from a church to a commercial operation, basically our show. Church has been out of business for a long time. It was not only quarantine, but it has been this empty lot basically at the corner of, not like super long, but it has been an empty lot here on the corner for a little bit. So I had to write a letter to all the neighbors, and then I had to inform them that a hearing was 10 days later, that if they have any problems with this, they can see me. So I'm exhibit A of the meeting too, by the way. So I am the lead off for the thing. So I did not know that I was titled the petitioner. So to lead off this meeting, I had to do a 10-minute presentation to the board and to the people that were in the city hall about what the business. I did not know I had to do that until the lady was describing what was about to happen in the meeting. The petitioner will present his case for the variance of the zoning with a 10-minute blah, blah, blah. Then there will be a 5-minute rebuttal from the remonstrator, whatever the hell their names are. And then the petitioner will have a 5-minute rebuttal. Then the remonstrators will have a 5-minute, and then the board can ask questions. Then there's another rebuttal, and then there's a more rebuttal. I did not know that that's what I was signing up for until immediately upon them telling me that. So I have to go right into a 7-8 minute description of what our company is, what we're going to do, while being city council Pat. You know what I mean? I completely understand where there's potential worries or qualms with what we could do because we are a very new business and blah, blah, blah. So this whole thing happens. I'm in there for 45, 50 minutes. And a couple of the neighbors are not happy about us moving into where we're moving. Okay, they are not happy. And there was this one guy, Mr. Smothers, is maybe Mr. Smothers, made my favorite motherfucker on earth. This guy, Air Force hat. Okay, I thanked him for his service. American flag mask, glasses, jacket, jeans. And he had lived in the neighborhood for decades, and he was not happy about what I was potentially bringing. He seemed like a 70, 75-year-old man, and I had so much respect for this guy, for how much he loved his neighborhood and didn't want us to ruin it and everything like that. Let me tell you how he went on this entire rant asking me questions, and I'm on a Zoom call. I guess they had me projected behind the thing pretty big. So as this guy starts hating everything that's going on in this meeting with us or whatever, I started laughing, but then I remember I'm on the big screen. So that guy might be thinking I'm disrespecting him right now. I am not, sir. I love what you're doing. He gets through, they tell him he's run out of time. He walks away from the thing and then turns around and goes, I oppose, by the way. And then fucking walks off. I popped so hard. I laughed so hard. I answered his questions. I think there was a lot of, I don't think he hates us as much now as he did during the meeting, because I got a chance to answer some other neighbors' questions as well. I mean, it was wild. I had no idea that world existed right now. I don't pay attention enough to that. And to be honest, I did not know what I was signing up for, I don't think, when I sat down at that Zoom call. I mean, it was 50-some minutes. I had a For the Brand t-shirt on. I mean, it was a wild, wild time yesterday. But anyways, by the way, unanimous vote. We fucking got it. Yeah! City Council Pat, AJ.
So it was confusing how you described that. You said there was a building that came for sale, but then you mentioned later it's just been an empty lot for a while. Is it a building?
It's a church, but the lot, it's a huge lot too. I mean, it's like
massive.
It's massive. It's massive.
Are you trying to get a variance to knock the church down and build something else?
No. The church is
Jesus stays.
It might be. Jesus has moved out, but we are going into his house or whatever.
His house.
It's this architectural phenomenon almost. It's this big circle. It's just this massive circle that it has
rotunda.
What is it?
It's a rotunda.
It is like an igloo. I guess a rotunda would be a much better. It's an awesome building, and it's near my house. So I drove by. It was for sale, and I was like, I don't even want to check how much money that is because it's massive. It's huge, and I saw how much it was, and I was like, wait a fucking minute, I think I can buy a church with it. And then we kind of did it, and then I did not know I was jumping into the full yay, nay, I, opposed, petitioner. I mean, I got put on the hot seat a little bit, and I was just like, I just want to run some fucking internet into the place and just build a studio and do a show. That's all I want to do. But I like the neighborhood, so we're going to try to take care of it as much as possible. But it was wild yesterday.
Well, okay, what were they worried about? Why do they not? They wanted to stay just an empty building?
Undesirables.
Undesirables that we could potentially bring with our.
Are you running a brothel? What are you applying for?
So I was asked in the initial conversation about the property, because there's 17, it's a church, it's a massive church. So there's parking lots that are just huge. There's a 150-yard field on one side that is just a full football field. It is this massive area. I was like, we could probably put a basketball court in out here. You know what I mean? Like a street court out here, just play or whatever. And as I'm saying that, they started describing that as what I could potentially be doing to the property during the petition to potentially change the variance or whatever, And then all of a sudden having a basketball court outside, that promotes violence, I was told yesterday.
Big no.
Basketball promotes violence. I was like, are we not in Indiana? My first thought was, are we not in Indiana? I thought Indiana loved basketball. But the thought was they thought we were just opening up a park, a basketball
sports complex.
Yeah, that is not. So I had to explain. They thought I was opening up a sports complex in the middle of their neighborhood. So a lot of yesterday was no. That, by the way, I don't want anybody here. That is actually the complete opposite.
Keep people out.
We make money when people aren't in our building. Actually, so it's a very different thing. So it was awesome though, and that guy, maybe my favorite human I've encountered in the last 5-10 years. He was fucking awesome, dude. He was awesome, AJ.
I mean, it's funny. You said you respect how much pride they had in their neighborhood. I get it. I understand. What if they thought, if they had no idea what you're bringing in there, so they think it could be some big, weird arcade thing where people drive from an hour and a half away to do go-karts and outdoor things that are noisy. So, yeah, I get it. I get them standing up for it.
We should do. We could do
Go-karts, hold on.
We could put in an entire go-kart racetrack.
Mario Kart?
I told them yesterday, we could do that. We will not, by the way, if this town is listening. We will not do that. I mean,
we could, though.
We could with the space we have, though.
Yeah.
We could have a mini Indy 500 around the property.
Uh-oh.
I did say we would only do it during work hours.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do believe they had no idea what was going on. It was a nice conversation. And by the way, I live very close as well. So it's like, I don't want to ruin the neighborhood here, okay?
No.
It's your neighborhood, too?
Mr. Smothers said he could have came down and talked to me. This guy was awesome, dude. He was so awesome. I love that man. I absolutely. I oppose, by the way. It was fucking awesome. I left so hard. I wonder how big I was up on the projection screen up there. I was dying. It was very cool. Then a couple emails got written about us from the neighbors.
That should be. Hey, those things are usually like put on like closed circuit television or something. Like, can you find that? Was it recorded somewhere?
I would assume Mr. Smothers. We recorded our side.
My dad used to watch them all the time for some reason on TV.
Mr. Smothers was awesome, man. I respect the hell out of that guy. You know what I mean? He was like, don't come in and ruin my goddamn neighborhood, right? No, please don't do it. I'm like, sir, we're not. They asked about a tower because we're a live show. You know,
satellite
we're gonna
tower.
build a satellite tower. And I was like, no, we are not building a satellite tower. Right? Fiber, we might dig it on the ground, but no major construction. Okay, sounds good. So it was a lot of like talk. You know, some people have no idea about the internet, right? I mean, that is something we have to kind of, that older generation, it is something. By the way, that I love how fiery they were. Like I did love it yesterday. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was a lot of fun. But we are probably moving the office, by the way. There's a little bit of a breaking news.
Yeah.
And although this place is sweet, we got a lot of room for activities. A lot of room for activities. Should be a good time. And we got a full basketball court in there.
Let's go.
Pretty pumped about that. I just got a text from Phil, probably telling me I can't talk about internet towers and satellites. Yeah, he just he was reminding me. Phil was in there, by the way, too. Phil had to go to the meeting. And if they started asking any, like, you know, in detail spreadsheet, NetSuite, like, commercial questions, I was going to be like, CFO's over there. He's got a big beard, and he's also in a T-shirt. Go ahead, Phil. That one's on you. Me and Phil, though, in a city council call is just... I think, Zito, you were in there, too, right?
Yep.
Zito and Tim McAfee were in there.
Oh, yeah. The whole neighborhood.
The whole neighborhood, dude.
Wait, were you guys just there watching, or were you there that Pat could throw to you if they had any weird questions?
Well, I was going to throw to Phil for any weird questions. I think Zito and my dad has been one of the contacts for this entire thing because there's been a lot. So I think they just kind of got the link and just kind of snuck in. I think that's what Zito and old Tim McAfee were. But boy, the neighbors they were so pissed at the beginning of that thing.
Came around.
So they did. Yeah. We're going to be great neighbors too.
Oh, yeah.
Cannot wait to get in there and take care of it.
I hope they bring us cookies.
I don't think that's going to happen.
On the opposite side, we should probably bring everybody pies.
That's what I'm saying. We need to become good neighbors up there because I do believe the place that we're getting is rather epic.
I'll mow their lawn, if they need me to.
Really?
Yeah. Smothers, hey, if you need me to mow your lawn, pal, let me know. I'll do it.
You missed a spot.
I would think he is pretty strict with how
He's probably a mow his own lawn kind of guy.
Yes.
For sure.
Probably got a deer.
He probably does.
Yeah,
John
he
Deere.
definitely has a deer.
What does Carson Wentz use?
Bobcat.
What's your thoughts on Bobcats?
I mean, it's a nice piece of machinery. It's no fucking deer, though. I'll tell you that much.
Is it green and yellow?
Yeah.
Green and yellow.
Get it out of my face.
Lil Weezy. I missed that yesterday with Aaron, by the way. I didn't ask him about Lil Wayne's remix.
King Tut's remake either.
Yeah. That's a real shame. King Cox kind of got that. The timing of that whole thing, you know, Weezy just jumping right on top. It's kind of a tough place to be. That's like playing the
bat game.
Who bats first?
Yeah, and you're all the way down here. You're like, I think I got it, and then Tinchy's just like, let me go do an ollie, bang, right there. Just kind of ends the whole thing.
Cots should reach out to Tunchy though. Maybe a collab for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sure Tinchy would do that.
Yeah. Like swag like Aaron Rodgers maybe would be a nice little
inner essence like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Hey, I called you last night. You didn't answer. I wanted to send you an Oculi because we're setting up the Oculus Arena right now. It's starting to look really good.
I did see that you called me later on. If you wanted to send me one, why do you have to call me to send me one?
Well, because I wanted to know if you wanted to buy one for yourself or if I had to send you one. That was going to be the conversation because I was directly in the arena, basically. So I was like, all right, we got to make this decision right now because if we don't do it right now, probably not going to happen. And then you didn't answer, didn't hear back. So I think you kind of missed the boat on me sending you an Oculus. I think at this point,
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but I think you should get one. The boxing is awesome, AJ.
I believe me, I'm going to get one. I will. But so your whole like arena you're setting up, that is so you're going to film yourself playing, but then what are the viewers going to see? Like a split screen of you, and then what's in your eyes?
I'm a streamer, AJ. Okay, I'm a gamer, dude. I don't know if you know the game much, but I'll be in the corner. You'll be able to see my entire body, by the way, because it is, virtual reality. Got to be able to move. Got an entire green screen there. And then what I'm seeing will probably be on the big screen there. So you're kind of, with me on both sides. And I do believe Oculi has told us that if we can get some things where it's actually me in the game that you actually
There's only a couple games that allow it, but we'll definitely get in those games.
Yeah, and the thrill of the fight one, you'll just see me in there. Oh, bang, over the top.
Yeah, I can't. Believe me, I do want to get it. As long as I can box you and I can play ping pong against you and other people, yeah. I mean, but then I've heard you talk about like, I have these conversations with people all over the world. I don't want that. Can I mute the volume?
Yes. You can mute your microphone and their microphone, by the way.
Okay, good.
And I have done that early. Last night I played against either a very tired person or a heavy breather. They were not muting their microphone. Mine was muted from the beginning. So kind of a setup like, hey, and then that person was very heavy into the thing. I was like, let me get this person out of here. And at the end, you just do a little wave with your paddle and fucking get out. See you later. And then if you hit like an edge, and kind of like steal a point, instead of being like my bad or whatever, you just kind of put your paddles up and just go, hey, that's my bad. A lot of paddle and oculi, hand sign language. You know what I mean?
Sportsmanship.
Yep.
A lot of this here. Excuse me. I played against a no human last night, just the ball floating. That was weird. I think that was quite a glitch. They need to figure that out.
Difficult.
It's fucking tough to play. Ball was just floating in the air.
Hard to read your opponent.
Came out. I was like, what is that? Tough to. He didn't know where he was either.
No.
Yeah.
I was fucking just hoping. I think he's not over there. Beat him, by the way. Just want to let it know.
Duh.
But that does seem like quite an advantage if I could show up at these fucking games and just be invisible.
Yeah.
Just see the paddle and the Oculus.
Yeah.
That's what you see normally.
Try and get that suit.
You see a head, paddle, and Oculus. And you can normally get a pretty good read on where they are and how their body is. It's pretty, you can actually, like for instance, Foxy, he looks like a tennis player with his back. Like you can see a lot just by only seeing that little thing. Nothing. Saw nothing. Just the ball floating there. It's a fucking ghost. That might be a cheat code. I wonder if I can get that.
Oh, up, down, left, right.
Hey, they do have one of them things.
Yeah.
The joystick?
Yeah, they
You
do. joystick.
jailbreak your Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Well, the fucking baseball one, AJ, I think you're going to love it, dude. The more and more we talk about it, the more and more our phones listen, the more and more ads I see for it. There's a baseball one where these motherfuckers are pitching 90-some miles an hour. You can pick an MLB pitcher to stand in the batter's box and try to hit.
Do I have some kind of bat I can hold at least so it feels good swinging? And I'm just swinging with
Yeah, it goes to the bottom of your bat. It's like a little connection.
Okay.
By the way, the Oculi, pretty comfortable in your hand. Like for a ping pong paddle, it feels like, they force you to hold it in a certain fashion, but it feels like you're holding the paddle. You go through a lot of stages though. Are you squeezing on the trigger button that's there, or are you kind of loose on it? Like when you're boxing, I think if you squeeze it, it's a much stronger punch than if you have it loose. or
Okay.
whatever. You know what I mean? Just something to think about.
Some tips.
When you get in there. I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna order off Amazon and get it. Can't wait. I cannot wait to watch you try to switch stances in the middle of one of our matches.
See, the thing about that is, AJ, I'm already about 3/4 of the way through the game, southpaw this time. So what I realized was my weakness, okay? I tried to turn into another strength. For instance, in real life ping pong, with the paddle, I never had a backhand because I was very smooth with the transfer. I had 2 forehands, basically, okay? So I would literally play like that and be a pretty good player. Now with the Oculus, I can't I can't fucking do it. You have to have a backhand. So I've literally had to work with my goddamn guy because I've missed out on probably 25 years of backhands because I've always just done 2 forehands. So I kind of got to figure that out. That's why I'm going to work. And in the boxing thing, I've never boxed before, but I realize whenever you're throwing 200 punches around and there are a lot of power shots, boy, your arms are going to get tired. So you have to switch. And while I'm switched so I can just get a different thing, I'm like, you know what? I should fucking learn how to box lefty as well. This left hook, starting to come alive. It's starting to come alive against these fake humans, obviously. But boy, I don't want to get punched in the real face. And when you have no fear of actually getting hit, it's amazing how many punches you will throw. I mean, you know what I mean? You're just wide open out there. But yeah, I'm southpaw and what is that? Standard, normal, whatever, orthodox, whatever the fuck it is.
Orthodox. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I get you. You have sold me on the Oculus. I definitely want it.
Foxy's boxing as well. Ain't that right, Foxy?
Ooh. Yeah, I got in the rounds with 2 last night.
Yeah, and the easy level, right? You started at the bottom
on
of
the
that
easy level, all right. The thing is, I know what you're doing right now. All right, I knocked my guy down. I didn't knock him out, so Pat thinks that's terrible.
Yikes.
I was not only boxing my guy, I was boxing my dog, who was also right in front of me.
Whoa! The Guardian is, I hope you don't beat your dog, by the way. You already had goose conversation. But, like, the Guardian is a big deal. What you designate where you play at, it's a big deal. When I play against people, the short corner is impossible because the person would normally have to go out of their Guardian. I mean, I've heard people hit their televisions. I've heard of people hit walls. Yep. I've heard of numerous apologies to significant others because of a little short drop shot that I hit. It's kind of fucked up. It's a guaranteed point. Are we playing to win or not? You know what I mean?
Trying to win the game.
Yeah. Those short ones, I'll just look at them. Fucking good shot. I give a little wave. Good shot. There's a wall there, pal. Can't do it. But not in the Oculus Arena. That thing's wide open. I'm gonna be fucking diving. I'm gonna be fucking diving, making plays. All right, let's get out of here. I gotta piss. AJ, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys. How you doing? You all right? You seem like you're. I don't know. You're a little jumpy. I feel like.
I gotta piss so bad right now, and also I'm allowed to eat right now. You know, I'm doing intermittent fasting.
Yeah, man. I saw you had a nice big bowl of spaghetti in the Oculus Arena. Good job.
Well, I hadn't eaten for 4 hours of my 5-hour fast, so I had to go ahead and just shove that thing down last night. Last night about 12:30, 1 a.m. though, I was sharpening the axe in the Oculus Arena playing ping pong, and I got tired and I got hungry, very, very hungry, and I had to go in there and box a couple people and get it out, and then shower and then go to bed. So I've been pretty good with this fasting thing. Have you ever done this?
I have not done that. I mean, I know of it. I know a lot of people that do, but no, it's not. I'm a breakfast guy, man. I like to make eggs every day.
See, I've never been that. There are people I know. I normally miss breakfast or whatever.
Remember, I made them for you down in Florida. I made you eggs.
Oh yeah, you did. They were very good, by the way.
Yeah, I ripped up some turkey and put it in there, and then you yelled at me for not putting salt and pepper and all kind of spices in it.
It did lack a little bit of flavor, I mean, at the time. But you said you didn't want to do it for me because you didn't know what my flavor was. You're a real chef out there, and I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to go piss and eat. Thank you all so much for watching. 30,000 today on a Wednesday. Didn't get the $40,000. Can't give away the money. Can't reward wrong behavior.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't.
Tomorrow, if we get to 30,000 again, though, by the way, we'll give away $15,000.
Whoa.
That's the show. See you tomorrow.